that Nick does have his glasses and that he witnessed it on a Zoom call, I guess with his AA or sponsor or whatever. And then he also kind of agreed that Nick needs further help outside of what Graceland can provide, which we know that.
Which I've been advocating for with you. We both been advocating for that. But I also advocated that with Pat, with every single person in the house. And I just want to share for me, on my phone call with Nick the last time we spoke, he was like, I don't know why people are not, let me say this correctly. He was just stating like, if you guys want to know things about Nick and you want to know like the truth about Nick, like the person you want to ask is Mariah. She talks to him every day. They talk, until recently they talked every day. And then also I'm his friend and I've been advocating and pushing for him. And so like going to all these other lives on TikTok to like find out details, the best place to come is to Mariah or to me, I think, or to Graceland itself. Just saying. Mariah, what's your favorite clip? Oh my God. They're like, this is funny.
Clip or chip? Like what?
Oh, chip. Sorry, my bad. Chip. Favorite chip. What's your favorite chip? Sorry.
What do you mean favorite chip?
I like chips. I like Doritos. I like Cheetos.
Girl, anything junk food, I'm down.
What's your favorite one though? So if you're in the grocery store and you're walking through and you're having the munchies or whatever. Oh, I like Funyuns. Yes.
Yes, I love Funyuns. I love Funyuns. Usually salt and vinegar. Random question, Mariah, but
I like that though. I like that it's not just about Graceland, about Nick. It's about something too. I like that. Like one thing I like about our phone calls is that like we talk about you, me, life, struggles, family, achievements, goals. It's not just about one topic.
Yeah. And that's the thing, like when we talk, I talk your head off because I don't talk to people. Like I don't have, I have my family. That's amazing. I'm very blessed. I'm very grateful for them. But, when it comes to venting and all that stuff, I keep the bullshit and the drama away from my parents, because whatever. No guy's ever going to be good enough for, daddy's little girl. But, and I understand that, my dad is a strong-willed man. And as long as you treat me okay, you're okay in his book. But
amen. So last night, the lady that came in my live, Cindy, that was one of the most powerful situations that I've ever experienced. Did you get to see a little bit of it?
I saw a little bit. And then we spoke about it, which
it was
amazing. You did amazing. And kudos to you. Nick treated me probably equally as I treated him. You guys just don't know all the tea. So
I always talk about this. I say that like whenever I talk to you, I feel like I can only speak on a little bit of it, but there's a side to Nick that like that I got a little taste of as far as like his personality when he's not on camera. Like one of the most sweetest, and when you're talking, he doesn't interrupt me. He is very like, go ahead, Jessica. I'm so sorry. He's a gentleman, and he's also very he's just not at all Nick on TikTok.
Hurley, I don't believe it's a lie. I was not present at that time, but I did go pick him up, and he was in a state of psychosis. I do not know exactly what happened, but
what are you talking about?
I do believe someone if they say allegations to that extent. I was not in the room, but if he's lying about it, he has to live with that, not me.
Nick or who?
Nick. They were talking about the allegations from the hospital.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I always say Nick also the way that him and Mariah started talking is like Nick called to like in his step work, and they both apologize to each other, and they're both on really good terms of like trying to rebuild their lives and fix things. And
Yeah.
that's I think that's
the distance, Jessica, was so necessary. Like we were in each other's back pocket for the past almost 3 years, you know, like every single day. And I don't care who you are, whether you love someone or you just lust or just care or don't care, whatever. If you are around a human being that much all the freaking time, you're bound to have arguments. You're bound to get tired of each other. I love Nick to pieces, but he is quite a character. We all know that.
I told Mariah that I talked to Mason today on the phone, and I was telling Mason about last night. There was a woman in our life who comes in here all the time. Her name is Cindy. I met her through Nick. She comes here for to help her panic attacks. Like, she loves my lives. She met me through Nick when Nick was going through the whole like transition to going to Graceland, and she came in last night. She's in ICU. They put her on dialysis to keep her here a little bit longer so she can see her granddaughter and accomplish a couple of things that she wants to finish before she's gone. And she just expressed her feelings about Nick, so Mariah could hear it. And then she also talked about like how she feels at this moment. So I text Mason. I said, hey, I would like to share something with you. If you could pass this message to Nick. I know you don't have phone privileges, but I think he should know that this lady named Cindy like is going through this and what kind of happened. And then that's when he told me that Nick gets his phone back. He can use the house phone again tomorrow.
Yeah.
Phone privileges.
Yeah. Because the cell phone, you know, I'm not in agreement with the cell phone. He does not need the cell phone because I don't care what anybody says. His addiction is social media. Yeah, we went through our, you know, mishaps or whatever with rugs, but that is not the issue. We had a couple of slip ups together. We got through it, but at the end of the day, it is he's mentally ill. He needs psychiatric help. It's professional help that I can't give him. And, you know, at the end of the day, he doesn't need his phone, but if everyone else in the house is allowed to call their people and I am his family, you know, he doesn't have but what, 3 of us. And that's where I was just kind of concerned because I know they know that we speak, even though, you know, I have the house phone number and I give respect. I'll never call the house, you know, I'll never do that. I allow him to call me first, but if he needs to reach out because he does have panic situations, he does have paranoia, all these things, if he needs to call one of us that he knows to calm him down, then I think he should be able to do that. I don't think that the phone privileges should be taken from him. He's already being punished enough in different ways.
And just so you know, Mariah and I both do not agree with the way that he's given words, or anybody in the house is given words. I
don't think it's productive at all. Like I said, I've never done the rehab and the sobriety houses and all that stuff, but I just don't see how basically dry snitching on people in the house. How is that productive? It's constantly going to fuck with people's mental, you know, it's constantly going to make them insecure. And as addicts, a lot of us deal with paranoia or, you know, just, sorry, hold on. I was getting a call. But, we all deal with paranoia. We all deal with struggles. We all deal with doubt. You know, I can remember when I was first getting clean, how freaking vulnerable I was. I was telling you about that earlier this morning. And aside from the words, I just don't see how the fucking camera in front of your face constantly, I just feel like they're just, I don't know. I just feel like it's just not healthy. It's not healthy. I don't claim to know the steps. I don't know I don't know any of that, but I can say in that vulnerable state of coming off of anything and trying to get straight and clean, That's not the way to do it. It's not okay to publicize everybody's fucking trauma.
No, we agree.
The views. It's
I agree
crazy.
with that. And I think that Mariah and I both agree that like the phone is a problem. Mariah has
Yes.
like, we do not advocate for him to have the phone. We do not advocate for him to be on the phone. A house phone, like to call Mariah, to call like, you know, his family, call me if he needs to. That's great. But to have the phone and to go live, that is like his probably the biggest. Well, I'm not saying that's what's priority as far as the biggest, but I know it's one of his biggest problems. And then also, like Mariah, like you've been in the lives when I'm talking to Pat or talking to anybody, Mason, I've always advocated for his mental health. And I've always said that he has, you know, he has mania. And we've seen him have a full episode where he's like raging in a hotel, going crazy. And since he's been there, I've not witnessed him having, as far as I know, I've heard no reports of him having any episodes.
No. The only episode where, you know, he was filmed and lied to about it, that all happened because they didn't allow him to call me that day. And Jill, he left to better himself. Why not leave him alone? Mind your business, please. Thank you. Not please and thank you. Mind your fucking business. I don't need to leave him alone. I'm his family. I'm not harming him. He's thousands of miles away. And I'm giving Graceland and everybody in the whole situation the benefit of the doubt. So I don't give up on my people. If he wants to call me, I'm going to pick up the phone every single time. What harm is that?
Is it clear that you two are not currently in a relationship? You both
we're not
are
in a relationship this far away. I don't do long distance.
You guys are
but
working
I'm not seeking anyone. He has voiced that he does not want me to seek anyone. We know that it is best for both of ourselves to be single, to work on ourselves. That's how it is, you know, like you can't, with all the shit we've been through, if we don't do this separation, our judgment's going to be clouded. Our way of thinking, our recovery, all of it is going to be clouded. And it's just, I hate being alone, and we're very codependent on each other. People call it a trauma bond, whatever, call it what you want. We're very codependent on each other, and I know that's not healthy. He knows that's not healthy. It's comfortability. So the fact that, I mean, I was at work watching when all this Graceland stuff happened, and he's on the phone with me, you know, asking his specific, you know, he always asks us, am I safe? Am I safe? Am I safe? And I told him the most selfish thing I could do is tell him not to go and try. You know, he needed change. We couldn't keep doing the hotel shit. It was toxic.
The night that we first talked, the night that I watched, well, I was there when Nick slept before he left. I remember Mariah and I was messaging each other, and we both were like really kind of scared because when he called me and was like, "Will you please help me? Will you watch me while I sleep? I have to do a 24-hour live stream. I can't not be live." And I was like, "Yes, I'll do it." And I got into the live with them, and I was sat there for 3 hours while he slept. And then me and you were talking throughout the night, and we both were super scared for the movie he was going to make, but we also were like, I think, scared for what ifs we didn't know, but also like we both know that he needed something. Like something had to happen. I feel like
something had to change, Jessica. It was getting dangerous. People, you know, we've been doxxed, whatever, blah blah blah. I've always welcomed, you know, someone. If you want to show up, like show up and let's talk, you know. But no one ever shows up. It's the internet, and people are keyboard gangsters. But it was getting to the point where people were actually showing up, not only getting us kicked out of hotels, they were showing up at the hotels. And
I remember that you told me
that doesn't sit well with me. And Nick, being the traumatized, sensitive teddy bear that he is, truthfully, that was not good for his mental health. He was spiraling. There was nothing I could do. And I don't want to sit back and just watch his mental deteriorate more than it already was.
And also, we did not know if Graceland was the right place, but we knew that he needed something. And then as we talked, I advocated so hard. I begged Pat, I begged each one of the workers that were live with him throughout the journey. I said, promise me mental health is serious. Promise me you're going to get him evaluated. Promise you're going to get him checked out. I don't know what it is exactly that he needs, but he needs to be seen by a doctor because of his mania and because of whatever. Do you agree that that should be the biggest priority?
Well, absolutely, because every episode that happened and he got go into psychosis or end up, not arrested but detained and then put into a psych ward, was always his emergency contact. Even in New Orleans, when I got back to South Carolina, even when all that happened at the market or whatever, I got called by a sergeant and they were like, what do we do? They clearly could see that it was not him being violent or a danger to society. They saw it as, holy shit, this kid really does need mental evaluation. And every time he ends up in the hospital, I get the phone call. And I luckily have had the permission and the authority to tell them every time, hey, hold him. Hey, he needs to be seen. Hey, it's not just drugs. It starts with drugs, but it is a further side, it's out of my hands. I'm not a professional. I can only advise for the safety of himself and others that you guys they would only do like a 72-hour hold at the most. But every single time I advise that, some hospitals followed through and some didn't, but he needs help. He needs to want the help, obviously. He's a grown-ass man. It's up to him to do it at the end of the day.
I do say that what I noticed from talking to him, from being a live streamer, doing battles with him and things like that, to the phone call the night of him going to Graceland, and then the most recent phone call I had with him, for me, I will tell you that I noticed such a gigantic change from TikTok live to a personal, very vulnerable. And I want to touch on the vulnerable side of him that people don't know about, but not too obviously much. And I don't want to overstep any boundaries, but when I talked to him the very first time on TikTok, it was a little erratic. I was nervous, because I could feel that there was like you know what I'm talking about. But anyway, so the last time I talked to him, the last two times, like there was such a relief of such a dynamic change. Do you feel there's a big change from whenever he left to the last time you spoke to him?
Oh, absolutely. And like I said, there hasn't been a manic episode. And like people have to understand, like he got there and he pissed clean. He wasn't using anything but, KRATOM or whatever. I don't know what you can say on here, but that's all he was using. But if you do your research, in copious amounts is not good for anyone. And then the stress of how we were living and like not only the need, but mainly the want and the attention and the desperation for attention on social media just wasn't helping. Like, I told him, and he knew it, 90% of the people that were ever in the lives were not supporters.
Amen.
And, everybody's like, oh, he never reads his chat. He couldn't. Imagine if he did read his chat. Imagine really what the lives would have turned out to be.
Every time I was live with him, I told the people I brought in, I said, no one read the chat out loud. Be respectful. Give him an opportunity to show you who he is before you judge him based on the chat. And I think that's why there was an instant connection with him and I, as I became kind of protective without even knowing much about him. And then if you fast forward, I did that. I'm still doing that. And I think that's something I think that whenever I was live with him when he was sleeping that night, if you recall, he kept like waking up, look at the phone. He kept the phone kept ending because he was texting me like, please, I can't sleep. There's no way I can sleep. They keep reading the chat. And I was like, stop. I literally yelled at them. I said, please do not read the chat anymore. You're triggering him. He has to sleep. And you guys are laughing and like mocking the chat. Mm-hmm. And I finally got them to kind of be respectful. but I do know the chat was one of the biggest triggers for him. And then now when I talk to him at Graceland, and of course, you guys, I will share my opinion. I know that he constantly wants reassurance that he's okay, he's safe.
Yep.
He asked me probably 4 times, like, Jessica, do you think I'm safe? So like, I do think he needed that reassurance, and he needed to know he also wants you guys to know that those who do support him, those who are watching him, and know you guys are giving him actual comfort. Like when Mariah and I tell him that you guys are watching him every day, you're watching the Graceland live feeds, that you guys are all like still, here caring about him. He was like, wow, so if something happens to me, like they're all
he's so grateful for that. Yeah.
He was like, it literally like made him so happy. The first question he asked me is, Jessica, am I safe? And that, I thought, that's what I was trying to say, is there's another side to Nick that it's more of a private, I think that's the part that Mariah that holds on to, is there's a part of him that you guys don't know that's so vulnerably sweet and compassionate. And we understand there's a manipulative side, but there's also a side where he's so vulnerably unmanipulative. He's not trying to do that. He's just trying to have a conversation. And I think that's the part that I like about him. And I wish that the chat could see that. I hope when he graduates that's the part that the chat gets to see.
Well, and that's what me and Ian, our friend from Australia, that's what me and Ian were just discussing last night, because I still keep in touch with him, of course. And that's what we were saying was like, when and if he comes back to social media on his own terms, I truly feel it will be different because of the damage that it has done. If he works this, the whole little program, if he does what he's supposed to do, I'm not even going to say steps because I don't know shit about it, but if he actually does do the work for himself, like he tells me, he's like, he doesn't fully trust everything there because it's new and he's scared. And that's why he calls me and you for reassurance. But he just tells me, he's like, let me just try and fix my brain. Like that's literally what he says. He's like, I need to fix my mind. We know that I'm damaged, and he wants the help. But at the end of the day, like I said, he's got to want the help. He's got to do it himself. I can't do it for him. I can't. Like, I can be here and I can be supportive, but my life can't stop. Like, I have family, and my dad, the biggest, heartache for my dad would be for me to just continue to keep fucking up and failing. So I got to do what I need to do for myself.
I think another topic that I would love to talk with you about is about you. So, like, what I learned about you, getting to know you, is that you really are, you take full ownership of whatever you're responsible for.
Yeah, absolutely.
And in no way do you like, what is that called where you blame the other person? Like you deflect. You don't do that. You own your mistakes. You state that you both equally fucked up. Maybe one more than the other. Maybe in different circumstances, one was more to blame than the other. But what I learned from both of you, by talking to you separately, was you both care about each other, but you have the growth I've seen from the lady that was washing his hair in a bathtub whenever I was live with them, and then watching the videos I've seen of you guys having your arguments and things like that, and then seeing the person you are today. Your confidence to me has improved gigantically, and you are busting your fucking ass, working your butt off to stack things up, to get things right, and you're taking accountability, which is big. So like, how do you feel from like whenever everything exploded to how you are today? Do you really feel like you have grown?
Absolutely. I have less anxiety, obviously. Like I said, we have separation anxiety from each other, but at the end of the day, that can't stop us from progressing in our own lives separately. The shit was beyond toxic. Something had to change. But I mean, I feel like I'm killing it at my job. I'm actually able to save money. Like I haven't had money saved in a freaking bank account, Jessica, in years. You know what I'm saying? And like the fact that like I went and bought myself a gym membership, and now I go to the gym, and then I got a car, and like that I paid off my license and it's no longer suspended, and like I selfishly am only worrying about myself right now because I have to. He's got to worry about himself separately.
Can everybody put pink hearts in the chat so you all can all show her that we're proud of her, that she's working on herself. There's actually growth in the situation, that she deserves all the pink hearts in the chat, you all. Just show her love, but pink hearts.
Thank you, Jessica. And thanks, guys. I'm just trying.
And even
trying to take it, day by day.
When I'm live with people from this whole scenario and they're talking about things, a lot of people really do care about you and they are very concerned by you, and there might be some fake love bombing in there, whatever, but I feel like this community that you guys have created, in a bad way and in a good way, a lot of people are rooting for you and they're really wanting the best for you.
Yes. Rosie Tulip, I'm Cali sober. But no, yeah. And I got a lot of support. I mean, I will never forget how strangers from the internet put food in my mouth, got me back home from New Orleans. Like, I respect these strangers in this community so much. I just stay away because it is toxic and I don't personally know how to deal with the hate and at the same time all the love. Like I said, I'm very socially awkward and a loner, but I very much appreciate this community. Even the people that even the people that have had negative things to say, like who have, after the DV situation with me and him, where I did what I did, even the people who told me to, KYS, there was 100 more people concerned and worried about me and just wanting me to like do better and, not be that alcoholic mess that they have seen in real life. And, I just honestly, I do appreciate all the support. I appreciate the non-support,
Well, I want to touch on two things. So one, I want to bring up the Nick and the growth of him taking accountability with the phone calls that you guys have had. And then I want to discuss, let's do that one. So what I noticed on the phone calls with him is that very similar to you, he was like, Jessica, I called Mariah and I'm working so hard to like apologize. I put that girl through hell and I'm so sorry. And I was like, she knows that we talked on the phone and she expressed to me how compassionately sorry you were. I don't know if words can actually fix the damage that you two have done on the other side. And there's also, what I like to focus with when I talk to you is like, there's always such a positive side about you two and the side that the world doesn't know and how beautiful it was compared to the toxic side. But, I do like
it wasn't always toxic. It was a good bit of toxic, but it wasn't always toxic.
Yeah, but also, do you think that with where he's at today, have you noticed that he does take accountability for the wrongs that he's did and how hard he's working to try to make those amends and how he does want to be a better person? Have you noticed that?
Absolutely. That's why I pick up the phone, when he calls. I'm not thirsty and I'm not desperate for his attention and his love. I know his heart. I know he's fucked up. Like I told you earlier this morning, I seek out broken people, I think, because I'm also broken. Yeah. And I had to get out of that space to where trying to fix someone when I can't even 100% fix myself. But no, I have maybe heard him come out and be honest and sympathetic and actually realize what he did do and what we put each other through and get a sincere apology. Like, this is new. He didn't always do that. Like, it would take a very vulnerable moment, and sometimes I wouldn't believe him, but it would take a very vulnerable moment for him to go, okay, holy shit, I did do this. I'm so sorry. I was wrong. Because I'm going to tell you, Jessica, over 75 to 80%, it was always him not taking accountability. And I told him, once you stop blaming everyone else around you, shit will get better. I had to learn the hard way. Out of 500 people in a room, 499 cannot be wrong.
100%, that's a fact. I think that when I talked to him, he did say that I think he thinks 90% of the times he was the wrong situation. He was wrong with your relationship. And what I noticed on the phone call with him talking, and I wasn't even asking him questions. We were just talking, and he was just expressing himself and trying to, I think he was just like letting things out as much as he could. And he was just expressing that I am so sorry for everything I've done, and thank you for having my back and fighting for me, and thank you for taking care of Mariah and being her friend. She means so much to me, and like, I know that he cares about you. I know you both are doing your own thing, and I love that you both are owning your wrongs, but you also are cherishing and fixing yourself so those good things and those rights could be, more seen than the negative.
Yeah, because if it wasn't for the separation, we wouldn't have seen it, like, we had to get away from each other. Like, as much as it sucks, it had to be done. We were never going to, I don't know, it just became a full-time fucking job that I didn't want. He was never, in our situation, he was never going to give up the internet and all these things. And it's just like, I stated that I wanted my boundaries respected. Like, yeah, we do other things on the internet, and that's different. That's consensual. But if you're going live and I'm like, please don't show me, or hey, I see what you're doing. Let's please not pick at me to make a fake argument for the views, because in the long run, once you end that live, we have to deal with each other in real life. Amen. And it just became a lot of resentment. And for the longest time, Jessica, I didn't even know to believe that he was remorseful for anything. It's a huge reason of why I resented him, because I didn't.
Would you describe like when he was?
I didn't get that out loud. Say that again.
I was trying to like coattail off what you're saying, so we can make a point. Is like, do you believe that like he was almost in a psychosis moment when he's streaming live, and he does it so rapidly that he forgets about like actually what's happening in the world, and he like goes into some kind of like. It's like, say it's mania. I'm just taking an example. So when he's live and he's being disrespectful to you, and we all watched that, we all seen it, and we all were.
That was a hard watch.
We were rooting for you, and we felt, and even though I love Nick, and I know you love Nick, I believe that was absolutely horrible, and my heart went out to you. But I also think that might be a part of the mental illness where.
Absolutely.
That's why they like him going live. Something happens where he triggers to a different planet, and he's like not himself, and he is so rude and so manipulative and hard and
literally, girl, it would take maybe a couple bad, terrible comments from the chat, and it would affect his whole mood. And then, in a sense, who does he have to take it out on? And even after the lives, like, yeah, it was total character. Like, some of it was real, obviously. The mask can only stay up for so long, but even after the lives would end, Jessica, it would just take, like, multiple hours for him to almost, like, decompress and come back to me, in a sense.
Was there a way to get him to come back? Did you have, like, was there, like, coping mechanisms? Were there ways that you could get him to come back to normal?
Yeah, just trying to, like, reassure him of himself. We are all our biggest, worst critics, right? And there's a lot of times I didn't handle it well, and it was me attacking him because I was just so fed up and selfish about it. But then there were times where it's like, okay, Mariah, if you could just like not be a bitch for a second and maybe just like calmly speak to him and calmly have these concerns, you know, then maybe we can come up with a solution. And sometimes it worked, most of the time it didn't. Like I said, his addiction is social media. It's not rugs. Like, he's so far past that. I didn't know Nick and that whole, you know, his addiction and all that stuff. I met him and got with him after he had damn near a year under his belt, you know? So I got the first real sober Nick ever. And just, it's been a huge change. It's been a bumpy roller coaster for these past couple years. And that's why, Jessica, like, I take full responsibility for what I have done. You know what I'm saying? I'm not perfect. I know that I didn't help a lot of the situations. And that's why me and him still talk to this day, because he's finally, in my eyes, accepting his part in it. And every single time it takes separation. He doesn't accept his wrongdoings, and he doesn't really take, you know, credit for his behavior when we're together, you know? It's like, it takes the separation for him to kind of just realize, like, okay, holy shit, like, everything's not her fault. And like, you know, it does take two to tango, and he's not better than me, and I'm not better than him, and I never claimed to be, you know?
Yeah. That's why I think, like, when we talk, you know, the accountability thing is so big. And also, you guys, I want you to know that she knows everything that he did wrong. She knows what part she was not like innocent, or she was not innocent, and also what she was innocent for. But again, it takes two to tango. So
yeah, you guys, I'm a fucking bitch. I'm just gonna put that out there. I'm not the easiest person to deal with.
Well, you're very pleasant, especially as a friend, and especially in this moment where we're both kind of like just worried about him, and also like you rebuilding yourself. I think that we talked this morning, and I don't know if this is not something you want to talk about, let me know, but like the narcissist behaviors that we all kind of have. I think there's a list of 10 things that make you a narcissist. I think all of us could check off at least 3 boxes. Some of us can check out all the boxes, but to like work from being in those terrible moments that we all go through, and then to get to a better place, like your growth in that category that you mentioned was gigantic.
Yeah, it had to be because I had such heavy hate for myself, and it's just like, okay, why am I miserable? You know, I can blame everyone else, but at the end of the day, why is everyone disappearing? Why do I not have people? You know?
What am I
and
doing
then you
wrong?
realize it's a you problem. And it's like, if you don't want to be miserable because of you, then you have to take the steps that it takes to not be that person and not be miserable, and try and find happiness and, you know, stability. And just self-awareness is huge for anyone. And that's why I told you, like, I'll never call someone a narcissist without saying it with my full chest, because it takes a narcissist to know a narcissist.
Yeah.
Not all narcissists are terrible. It's not all completely unhealthy, but there's different steps to it. And as long as you're self-aware and you take accountability and not blame others, like, we're freaking grown. Like, we're in our 30s. I can't go, oh my gosh, my life is this way because mommy and daddy. Like, fuck no. My life is this way because of the decisions and the choices that I have made throughout my life myself.
Amen. I do think that like our childhood traumas that our parents put us through, or something happens, and I do think with Nick, something in his childhood,
yes,
that knows who he is, and some of the trauma he carries today a little bit. I think we all do. I know I do. So I do think that your childhood could play a part, but it doesn't defy who you are today. Sometimes your actions and your behaviors are not to be blamed on something else. It's a part of your accountability.
Yeah, it's like they say, it's and it can, have an effect on your persona of the company you keep. Like, that's what my parents always taught me. You keep shitty company, it's probably going to have a shitty outcome, And that's the thing, like, I come from great parents, like, couldn't ask for better or more. And it's like, I still ended up fucked up, And it's like I told you, because I almost lost them, and the wreck that happened, and like just being so young and almost losing both my parents at the same time. And it was just a lot, and I've never dealt with it. I've never talked to a therapist, which I am so fucking happy to do coming soon. I've never talked to anybody about it. That's like when I talk to you, I talk your head off, because like I don't vent. I don't speak on anything. Like, I'm very to myself. I'm very private, unless I trust you and I get to know you, and then I'm an open book and you're going to know everything, Like, I came from great parents and I still ended up messed up, but I'm just going to speak from what he told me and from what I've seen the past 3 years, that yeah, it's upbringing. It's his, childhood. His trauma dates back to probably before he even realizes,
No, I agree. I agree with that. You can tell. And that's why I think that I've been advocating for him to get some kind of treatment or some kind of help. And I mentioned that to him on the phone, and he's like, I do want it. And there's always like this deflection. But now that Pat's back, I feel like maybe things will start happening. I don't know, but...
So they have to, because that's kind of one thing I told him, like, for us to keep in touch. And I mean, I'm always going to care, right? But at the end of the day, you dipped out, you left a situation that was bad, but you left it really kind of blindly with a bunch of obviously empty promises from these strangers. Yep. If you can get the help, by all means, please get the fucking help. Like, I can't help you. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was at my wit's end and I'm no professional. But if they're not going to help you, then maybe it's smart to look into somewhere that can. He wants to see a doctor, but I will say out loud on live that he is still kind of refusing the whole medication part of it.
Was it certain types of medication that he's scared of? Or don't want?
Yeah, it's certain types, because he's been on medicine, a good bit of his life. And even like past friends or exes that I've had, they've told me, like, the medication fucks with you. Sometimes you do better, sometimes you don't. But that's what I was telling Nick. Like, that's why you need to see a doctor, because like trial and error, like, they're never going to get the medication right the first time, especially when this is the first time in probably over a decade that you have, tried to take that route. But if it can help you, why not try? Yeah, it can't harm you. At this point, I just don't think it can harm you.
Amen. And he would say, like, I don't want to be on this one certain thing or this other certain thing. And I said, you don't have to be on this thing. You could tell the doctor, listen, as a child or as a teen or whenever, I tried these. I don't like how they make me feel. Is there an alternate situation? And I think they can help find it. So
that's what I said, trial and error. You're going to have to go a couple visits, a couple appointments, a couple months. I have a very, very bipolar, depressive, paranoia, schizophrenic friend, and it took her months for the doctors to finally kind of get it right. And it sometimes, listen, they've got it right, and it's only worked for so many months, and then she's got to kind of go back in, 'cause she's got to be honest with herself that, like, hey, okay, this shit's not working the way it was working before.
Amen.
So he's just got to be open to it. But I mean, it's only going to hurt him if he doesn't take this time in his life to be serious and heal and get better. It's only really going to affect him, because no shade, he doesn't really have many more people he can affect.
Amen. They said in the chat that ultimately he wants to change. I think Mariah can say how she feels. I think that he does have a free place to live. Yes, he has free food to eat with being there in a food stamp, things like that. But I also know what I've witnessed from the first night when he was sleeping and that first phone call I ever had with him offline till today. I think that he really is doing everything in his power to change. When he was about graduating, he was like, Jessica, I really want to graduate. I really want to accomplish this. I want to show Mariah and I want to show everyone out there that I can accomplish something. If I put my mind to it, I can become a great person and I can fix and I can apologize and I can work hard to be a better person. And I was like, fuck yes. So yeah, I do think that he is wanting and he is seeking change. I sometimes just worry that maybe that place is not fully the right place sometimes based on what I hear or what I witness or what I see. But other than that, my question's more about Graceland. About him, I feel very confident with his determination and will to want to be better.
Yeah, he's absolutely, it's almost a full 360 just in his, mood and all these things. It's totally different. That's why, like, even though I don't agree with everything about Graceland, like, he calls me, whenever he has a panic attack, he'll call us and he's like, Jessica, Mariah, am I safe? And, he called me right after that live where Mason filmed him.
That was awesome.
Immediately called me. I was walking into work. And the first thing I told him, I was like, hey, they lied to you. We all saw it. It broke my fucking heart. Like, I was walking into work crying because I don't ever want to see anyone like that. And I sure as hell don't want thousands of people to have to witness it and then just go based off that to, continue to judge him or whatever. At the end of the day, it was fucked up what they did. Yeah, I told him, I was like, isn't it ironic that you kind of got your karma? Because now, and he apologized fully. He was just like, I totally see how you feel all those times that you didn't want the camera in your face. And I told him, I said, it sucks that it took that, but you're safe. And he's just like, well, I'm going to leave, will you get me a ticket? And I was just like, if me or Ian get you a ticket, if we help you get out of there, what is your plan? Because I can't save you. I can't stop doing what I'm doing and the progression and the goals that I've been working towards because you had a bad day at Graceland to save you. You know what I'm saying?
I think it was a fight or flight situation, I think, in his brain, because maybe my experience is wrong, but we watching that, he was being vulnerable and he was being realistic with what he was saying because he was under the impression, and I think I seen and heard multiple times where he was supposed to get his phone after 60 days. Mm-hmm. I also seen where Pat says something about he could get the phone. I just think a straightforward answer from Pat, if he wasn't been there or someone would have said something differently, it might have been different. But the way it went, I think it like sucker punched him and shocked him that they were not going to give his phone back to him. And of course, his addiction to his phone was kicking in. He wanted that phone so bad. He wants to go live. And he had a week.
Yeah. And Jessica, telling Nick no is like telling a toddler they can't have a piece of candy in a store. He's going to throw an absolute fucking fit, right?
Yeah.
But let me tell you the change since that. When I last talked to him, I was just like, I need you to prep yourself for the fact that you're not getting your phone in 60 days. And I need you to not throw a fucking tantrum and give these people, kind of what they want to see before they quit doing the lives. I was like, I need you to not, I need you to act like you're on Reflections even when you're not. And it was a huge turnaround because the last I spoke to him, he goes, you're right. I know that I'm probably not getting my phone in 60 days. Which weeks prior, he told me, hey, if I don't get my phone in 60 days, I'm fucking dipping.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
But I think in that moment when they recorded him, that was very any kind of trust that he developed with them being in that place. Because one thing he does say all the time is, am I safe? I think in that moment, I think he didn't feel safe. I think he was feeling betrayed. They were the camera. Watching his face, like he went, like it was like seeing a fucking monster. It was.
He was shook. Yeah, he was shook. He was very detached, and he's like, "This place is going to turn me into an animal," and I was just like, "Whoa, that's not a good way to look at it." You know what I'm saying? Like, we got to stay positive. And
how would you have felt in that moment? I would have felt. Well, you know how that moment feels.
I would have felt fucking betrayed. I would have felt betrayed. Yeah, the trust would have been gone. It's bad enough that everybody in the house already, I mean, we know how they feel about him, right? Everybody does. So, like, imagine carrying that. And then, like, Mason, the one that he really was taken to the most, was the one that, did what he did. And now Nick is like, okay, who can I really trust now, And he was like, I'm fucking leaving. And I was just like, no, you're not. And he was like, what do you mean? He was like, I don't want to be here. And I was like, you put yourself there. And I was like, you have to try. Like, you're going to have more than 1 to 2 to 5 to 10 bad days. But you didn't make this journey to just give up because you heard you weren't going to get your way, And that's why I said it's a huge turnaround, because the last I spoke to him, he was just like, I know I'm not getting my phone in 60 days. And I was like, yeah. I was like, how is that sitting with you? And he was just like, I'm just going to bite the bullet, like, and then he was like trying to make another timeline. And he was like, but if I don't get it by my birthday, and I was like, stop. I was like, let's not hyper focus on that. Because now you're just putting a deadline on, like, counting down the days of when you may or may not just dip out, Yeah.
But then after he works through that and goes through the trauma of, like, being upset or feeling those, then after you talk to him for a little longer, it's like, okay, Jessica, I do want to be here. I do want to graduate. Yes. And so people were saying, he's all about self-image and impressions. I think we all are. And we all are about image and impression. Social media has created that. Is he flawed? 100%. Is he perfect? No. We all are in that way. So, and also, I want to make sure that everybody knows that Mariah and I both, mostly I put this on Mariah, like, we are not enablers, and we do not, like to me, we don't sugarcoat things with him or baby talk with him, or we don't like not make him be accountable in a conversation. Like, we're not.
We tell him the shit he doesn't want to hear, but needs to hear. The enabling from me would have been to not want him to leave.
Yeah. So we're not perfect. And people attack me all the time about, like, Jessica, you don't know his past. And I'm like, listen, I've never said I am okay with his past. What I like is that.
And you do know his past. It's public information. Like,
yes. I've never said, like, oh, I'm rooting for him for his past. Like, I've never done that. And I don't think that, like, no, I don't think he's proud of his past. I don't think Mariah's proud of his past or their past. So it's about him getting better. That's mainly where I think
all that we care about.
And like Mariah, I think the most important thing too, with our conversation, is your growth and how much this has helped you by him being there, and how much you've grown. And in a year, imagine where you're going to be.
That part. And that's what I'm excited for. Like, I haven't been excited for tomorrow in a very long time. And I can say today that I am, And
I think Mariah and I might be going to the graduation.
Yes, that's what I told him. I was like, listen, like, I'm not going to sugarcoat shit on here. I said, I truly don't think that the fucking place is going to be open for another year. But if it is, then hell yeah, we're going to show up.
So talking to him, and like in a 50%, I was invited to go, and I would love to go. I want to meet Mariah. I would love to be there to see the growth and be a person that's rooting for him. But also, like, I've heard 70 different versions of what's happening in the house and why they're not streaming, and alleged, like, lawsuits and alleged this and alleged that. So, like, Mariah has a very valid point. don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah. I hope for the best. I mean, this place is keeping him safe. Yes, you know what I'm saying? Like, literally, like, Jessica, you know what we were going through. Like, it was no way for anybody to live. You know what I'm saying? And it's, I'm so for this. I don't agree with how they run shit, but just personally, individually, for Nick, I'm excited for the change. It had to happen. It needed to happen. And selfishly, I needed the fucking release.
No, I agree. And
holy shit, I was not in a good place, you know?
And also, we were talking about Nick wanting to retreat, like the flight or fight kind of situation.
Yeah.
What I noticed too with you is that there's moments where you are like, fuck this, like, Nick, come home, or okay, no, never mind, next day. Whenever something bad happens, of course, like, and also I think what's cool about Mariah and I, we were similar. We're kind of both the dominant type alpha females. So we make a decision. Like, we are here to like provide, we're here to fight. Like, she's a boss, and like, we all have weak moments, but it's about like, after you know, you're hyped up or upset about something, once you calm down, you rationalize and you come to terms that this, you know, this, what's real and what's not.
No, yeah, because that's literally like when I'll call and text you, because if he calls me upset, right, it triggers me also. But I'm not gonna lie, if he has a bad day or I saw something on the live I didn't like, I was ready to rip his ass out of there, you know what I'm saying? But he put himself there, so I want him to follow through. I know he can do it. Like I said, I met him sober. The Nick I first got with is not the Nick today, in a good and bad sense. But yeah, no, there's been times where, and that's when I call you and I'm like, Jessica, I'm fucking about to rip him out of there, you know, like.
Yeah, she's like, what are we gonna do? Let's do a plan. And I'm like, okay.
Yeah, I'm looking at bus tickets and plane tickets, and
we both are. I'm like, yes,
you
know, let's do this. So we both would, trust me, when you guys are watching the live streams and you are hearing something breaks out or something happens or something's going on, trust me that Mariah goes into fight or flight in that moment, and she's typically a fighter. Also, you guys, I want you to know, those who just got here or those who missed part of the conversation, mental health and him getting mental help is what I've been advocating since the day I'm like, this whole thing started happening. I asked Pat about it. I've asked everyone. Mariah has done everything to get Graceland, to get Nick to go see a doctor for mental illness, mental health, things like that. So we are 100% advocating. We know that he needs it. If he doesn't get it, we know that there could be a lot of missed opportunities of his growth while he's there. Yeah. So anyone that's here thinking that we're skipping over the mental illness part, she has some of the worst stories to tell of the relationship based on the mental illness. And for them to be friends, we advocate that his mental health and mental illness gets seen.
Yeah. It's very important. It's very.
Nick has demanded it. Nick has demanded a bunch of things, and most things don't happen, or there's an excuse. Yes. I remember one time there was like the power went out or something like that, and then the next time there was a ride or something happened. So there has been attempts on Nick's end, but most of the time what I've noticed is it's like a whole fucking dance in a circle to get to where we're going.
Yeah, and that's why I asked him last time. I was like, listen, you still don't have glasses on your fucking face. Like, give me the number of the place. I'm gonna fucking pay. I'm gonna, get taken care of. And he's just like, no, I'm gonna get it, da 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 da. And I'm just like, okay, well, next time we see you, we need to see glasses on your face instead of you squinting and cross-eyed trying to read comments. And I guess, I told him, I was like, I'm serious. I was like, I am going to start to get upset, and I'm going to reach out to people if you don't start making appointments, because yes, it's up to him. He's a grown man to make his own appointments, but there is transportation. I did
hear Mason say that, like, we're waiting for this person to make the appointment. And I heard a lot of ways that, like, if I was Nick and I was in this program and I was new there, I didn't know nobody, and my main person's Mason or my main person's this, and they're like, well, let's wait for your birth certificate and we got to get you an ID. And then Nick has an ID the whole time. And we're like, what the fuck? But we got food stamps with this ID. But now why we're getting.
Yeah, he had a hard copy of his ID months ago. Like me and my parents actually were the ones that took him to the DMV. Because, you know, I was having to use my ID to get the hotels and stuff. And then it just got to a point where I was like, Nick, you know, we got to get out here and get jobs. I can't get you a job with my ID. Like, we gotta do something, you know. And I will say this out loud, Jessica, my true belief is if they take him to attempt to get the help he needs, if these professionals are actual intelligent professionals and know what the fuck they're doing, they're going to try and admit him. And then that takes the cash cow out of the house.
Dun, dun, dun!
Also, I already know what it is. Already know. Because when he called me and told me, Alex, you know, after the 5150 and stuff, not to like air her out, everybody knows. Once he told me that she left, it was literally like her third, you know, visit. And it was basically like 3 times was the charm. After that, people actually have to step in and go, okay, she actually needs help somewhere outside of Graceland.
So I think
it becomes a liability.
I think they would see him. They would realize. So I'm not a doctor. So this is just me just pretending in my brain, making a scenario. Yeah. He came in and I was talking to him and I asked him like, hey, you know, like, tell me about you. Where do you live? Like, how are things going? I would be like, dude, where are you staying? What the fuck is happening? Yeah. And we got to figure out, like, to get you better, we got to do A, B, C, D, E, F, G to get to this place that we're going. And red flags would go off to me about some of the situations. I also think that there's some things that like are done to manipulate situations so that Nick stays longer
absolutely. They are appeasing him. Absolutely.
I've said this 1,000 times. I think that they want him to feel he has nothing. So like right now, and I said this to Mariah, I think we all agree that's here. If Graceland closed down right now, shut down, it's gone. Nick's sitting there like, where do we go? Like, he is leaving today with maybe a couple things that he got, a couple shoes, whatever, but he's leaving with
the clothes on his back, you know?
And how much money would he have? Where would he go? I'm sure they could find something will happen. I don't know how, but I think they kind of want him to not. It makes him vulnerable. Puts him in a vulnerable
Absolutely.
state. It allows Pat to be the Mac Daddy of all Mac Daddies. In my opinion, allegedly, however, I say that for purposes of being sued or whatever, but I just think that like they want him to be that vulnerable.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm telling you, like in recovery, you're at your most vulnerable state. And they fucking know this. They're not new to this, you know, and
AJ, I have said that to him, and she said it to him. We have said, get a doctor appointment. And I'm telling you guys, I feel like it's almost like a hamster on a wheel. Even if he asked and made an appointment, I think that a ride would cancel. I think that power would go out or things happen. I don't know, and I'm praying, and I want to, believe there's positive things that are happening. I don't know if like they want him to see a doctor.
I don't think that they do in that sense, because with medical professionals and all that, and they're going to see right through it. Like, I don't agree with anyone just going straight to a facility like, this one. Yes, Nicholas is a fucking veteran when it comes to these places, but there's still steps. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, he wasn't on rugs, but there still should have been, like, it's crucial, man. Like, I don't know if I can say kratom, but when I was getting clean, that got me clean. Like, that was what helped me, like, I didn't do it a long time because there are hard withdrawals from Cray. And I don't agree that, I'm telling you, Jessica, it was $100 a day just on Cray. He should have been medically detoxed.
I agree.
It is serious.
I've listened to all the lives. I've listened to all the people who stream about this, and they all say that he should have went in a detox. He should have been in a mental situation. A mental evaluation should have happened. And I always say that if Pat got to go to a mental place to get evaluated and go through it,
fuck isn't Nick getting help?
If Nick's your cash cow, can we at least give him a little bit of help from a doctor? But if you're saying things in a comment, if we skip something or if we don't respond to something, we're actually having like a conversation. So we're looking at the screen.
Yeah, no offense, people. I'm barely reading the comments.
Something, I apologize. I'm trying to look and I'm reading. They're saying like he should get. They're trying to. Where's the part I missed that he said I'm getting skipped? They said something about he should convert conservatorship or something or
yeah.
I seen all that. We're not ignoring anybody. We're just really having a conversation, and I'm trying to include all the questions I can into, like, after we go from another topic, I'll try to throw a topic in the best I can. So no, we don't. He's not seen a doctor yet that we know of. We don't know if he has glasses. We're told that he does. Also, well, no, never mind. I was gonna bring another topic up, but I think that's going to give other people more clout if I was to bring that up. But
I'll try and address some of these things. Hold on, I'm scrolling. Yeah, so about work, that's his thing. Like when we were discussing if he was to leave today, what would he have, right? So I'm not going to lie. He's trying to utilize this as an opportunity to get glasses and get help and get back on his feet and all these things. And, in his mind, in the next 30 days, he's going to have a job. When I talk to him next, I'm going to let him know, like, little does he know, they're going to expect you to hand that fucking paycheck over, and he supposedly got a free scholarship, right? We all know it was because of the fucking clout. Whatever. I don't know how that place works. I don't know their financials. Clearly, they don't do things correctly.
Allegedly.
Yes, allegedly. And, I'm going to let him know, like, you need to have a plan A, B, and C. So he does want to work. That's another reason we were seeing this behavior is because even though Nick has had a bunch of jobs, he is used to working. He's ADHD. He's hyperactive. He needs to be doing something basically at all times of the day until he falls asleep. That's just how he is. And he's worked these programs and that's how the programs run. And he's going stir crazy sitting in that house. But hold on, sorry.
I know he goes outside and he works out. I know they go get yogurt. Like the other day he went. I do know that they went.
He told me the other day that like he hasn't even been able to go work out and stuff. Like when he got in trouble and he's back on reflections and they kind of took the phone privileges from him even after the power came back on. I think one of the things, I know there's kind of weights there and stuff. But he was telling me like how he wasn't even really able to get to the gym and, what's her name? Danielle was like the last person to take him or something.
Oh, I didn't know that. Damn.
Yeah. That's why it was so important for him to get the meds to get off of, what he was running. And because he was super, super worried about his hormones crashing and all that stuff. And I'm just like, if they can get him to that kind of doctor, why can't they get him to a doctor that's going to help his brain?
Yeah. Just, they want to ask, why does he say alcoholic? I don't know if that's strategic for the scholarship. I don't know. That's up to Mariah to answer that part.
Wait, what?
They're saying, why does he say that he's an alcoholic?
Oh, okay. Because he most definitely is. So like I said, I don't do the programs. I don't do AA, NA. I've literally my first meeting he took me to. So I don't know like all that stuff, but he's most definitely an alcoholic. I think that he was an alcoholic before he was an actual, addict. For me, it was backwards. I used hard stuff and then substituted with alcohol after I got off of everything and, things like that. But I think for most addicts, I would like to think for most addicts, alcoholism is definitely in there somewhere. But he is an alcoholic. He just says that because AA is, I'm pretty sure, like, NA is based off of AA. So, like, AA, I think, is the actual, like,
I think there's a difference, but we don't know for sure. It's like, no one go crazy that we're saying that one's similar to the other.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not a professional.
Yeah, so just in case you all, like, anybody that accepts anybody, just so you know, if I'm sure there's a difference between NA and AA. So I know one's alcohol, I know one's the other word. We know that.
Yeah. But he's been all those things, and, he's wanting to get help now. And
so people always ask about his sexuality. And I can tell you guys, I'm trans, and Nick always told me how beautiful I was. He loves drag shows. He loves the queer community. He's very, like, flamboyantly loves, and he feels safe where we are.
yeah, he's unapologetically himself. I love it.
And I don't know if he's bi, straight. I don't know, like, exactly what box he fits in and what is the right place. But I do know that obviously he was in love with Mariah, and
so he preaches till he's blue in the face, and it may or may not be out of, worry of judgment, but I can tell you he's a very feminine man. He's very sensitive. I think he's very, very confident in his sexuality. I can promise y'all that. But I think at the end of the day, the way I'm going to sum it up is Nick is a lover of humans.
Amen.
He doesn't see race. He doesn't see gender. He sees people. Love is love, exactly. And I'll never judge him for it. Like, I fell in love with the kid for a reason,
And like they're saying, like, do you not agree that he needs psychiatric help? Yes, we both think
yes.
that. We both
1,000%.
for that. So so there's a lot we're talking about. I had seen this comment where the person said that Mariah, you were talking about too many things. What does Nick need most? ? Do you not agree psychiatric help is the most important or whatever? Yes, we do think that should have been the first priority.
Yeah, I think that's number one on my list. Because I'm telling you, he peed clean because he peed clean. That wasn't the issue. It is mental illness that is the issue.
I don't think he's worried about the stigma of liking men or being. I watched the live where he said he couldn't imagine something being put in his peach or something like that. So I think that, like, he probably could love his love for Nick, I believe. Love. But I do think that there are certain parts that come with that where he probably likes being more with a genetic female because
yes, he loves some women, I promise. Like,
well,
like with the line of work that we have done right on the internet, if you're not, as he would call, a snowflake, and you're not green to it, and the type of person he is, being taken in by the LGBT community and stuff, and then being there for him and him being supported by them. They were his second family, when his family wasn't. And I just think that he is just a lover of people. He is straight, I promise. He loves women. But at the end of the day, in our line of work, you can't be a snowflake. You have to be open-minded. Doesn't mean you have to do certain things. You do what you want to do.
I agree.
Like, consent, you know, like.
If it was by, there'd be no judgment. Who cares?
No, absolutely not. I've literally, like, even in a fit of rage, being a complete bitch, I've literally been like, if you just come out, you'd be a lot fucking happier. But that's just me being an asshole because I know how to get to him. But he knows no matter what, I support him. I love him for who he is, the good and the bad.
And I do know the gay guys absolutely love him. They eat him alive on other
absolutely
things like that. So of course he's going to be flirtatious and playful, especially.
Yeah, well, even seeing it in real life in New Orleans, like even at the bars, you know, like before he would dance, you know, we'd hang out or whatever before he'd dance, and like whenever he'd go to work, you know, before I dipped out or got left or whatever you want to call it, like I was separating myself because I knew that he was about to go into work mode. And in that type of environment, he is comfortable. And I wouldn't, you know, I was never going to be like, oh my God, you're flirting with another man or get jealous of any of that. It's like, okay, he's comfortable and he's happy and there's a smile on his face. And that's all that matters.
Amen. I want to point out something to you guys, just to notice something about Mariah, something about myself. During this entire live, Mariah and I both have not said, please subscribe to Jessica's live. None of us have said, please tap the screen, get likes up. None of us have said, oh my God, please gift us right now. We need gifts. Hurry, hurry. This live has literally been similar to like a podcast, just us having a conversation. Yes, it's on TikTok live, but we are in no way. I will never try to make money off of Nick. I will never try to get clout out of Nick. That's not ever been my intention. And I think Mariah has not asked one person for a gift or asked anyone to tap or to subscribe. So I know it's one of the points that
anytime I ever went live, like other than the cry for help in New Orleans, anytime I ever went like live when we were arguing just to be spiteful, that was the first thing I'd say is like, thank you guys, but like, cause I mean, people they knew my Cash App, you know, they didn't have to send gifts or anything. They'd always reach out personally, you know, if they ever wanted to send me money or buy me lunch or anything like that. Like, I'm not on here for that. I work a 9-to-5 happily. I don't do the internet. You know, I've never asked for a gift. Jessica has never ever sent us anything. We've never asked her to send us anything. That's not what she's here for. That's not why me and Nick are here for her, you know, with her as friends and all this. It's not. It's sincere friendship. It's not money based. It's not clout chasing. None of that. And that's why I talk to Jessica. I don't talk to anyone else on the internet, but she has my phone number. That means something. That means a lot.
I agree. So my point of that was just like a lot of people are like, subscribe, watch Nick here, watch exclusive content, right?
Nah.
Nick was talking on the phone and he was like, why the fuck these people are. Anyway, I just feel like there's a lot of like toxicity that is on here that goes around him, outside of Graceland. And sometimes I think it's more better to focus on like Mariah getting better. And if you are caring about them, let's focus on them getting better. Screw the toxicity and the drama of bashing people.
Man, that's just the past and we can't change it.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, it was publicized to the max, but Elizabeth, I have not, but she's the mother to my niece, which I get to see every weekend. So very grateful for that. And that's all I'll say about it. I have no ill will towards her.
When you talk about your family, your dad, and you're like, just things, I do notice that there's a different tone on the phone when we talk, like where you can tell that you are so proud and so happy about your family. And I think that's the part of like, people don't know about you that people get to know you on a personal level outside of TikTok, that there's such a good part of you and you have so many good people in your life, like your parents. So super awesome.
Sorry, babes. I was talking to my brother.
You're good.
I caught like half of that. I'm so sorry. What'd you say?
I was just saying, like, there's like such a positive vibe about you when you talk about your family and people that are supporting you, and like every time you tell your family story, like there's a different passion that comes out when you're talking. I love it. I think it's super
Oh
beautiful.
man, they're everything to me. I do take them for granted sometimes.
We all do.
Like, everybody, yeah. But at the end of the day, no matter what I've done, Jessica, the fuck ups, the proud moment, every bit of it, my parents, and I haven't seen this from like other people, like friends and relationships and stuff. I have not ever seen the support system like even with Nick, I'm not talking about his family, whatever. That's a whole nother fucking episode. But like even with his family, like if I just couldn't imagine not having that full support, and he tells me all the time, like, I'm so lucky, and it does humble me and bring me back down to earth. I'm very grateful because no matter what, my dad was like the second person I came clean about my addiction, because I was like, hey, Dad, this is this. He had no idea. And hey, I'm telling you because I need your help. And my dad was like, if I need to put you somewhere, we'll do it. Let's do it. Like, I'm on board. He was like, but I think that you can do this. I think I just started a new job. And he was like, I think that you're strong-minded enough. Bam, I relapsed. I told him, Dad, I don't think I can do this. He said, do you want to try one more time? I said, yeah, let's try one more time. He said, if not, we will put you somewhere, but by all means, they had the funds to do it. And it was like that second time. And he was like, I know you haven't relapsed. And I was like, well, how do you know? And he was like, I can just tell everything about your being. So long story short, what I'm saying is no matter what fuck ups me and my siblings have ever done, my parents have never closed the door on us. They've never turned their backs.
And I think
they'll tell us about ourselves, but they're always fucking there. They're always supportive. My dad doesn't agree with this TikTok shit, and he doesn't agree, with a lot of situations with me and Nick. But at the end of the day, I'm 32 years old, and he allows me to make my own decisions and suffer my own consequences to my own actions.
Amen. So a little rapid fire part before we wrap up. I think that we should do they want to know what's your sign? I'm a Virgo.
Me and Nick are Pisces. That's another reason we probably clashed. We are literally a year and 2 days apart. His birthday is March 12th and mine is March 15th.
So in the chat, you guys, if you can ask rapid fire questions that we can just say one word answers to, if you want to know her birth sign, or if you want to know a rapid fire question, you can ask them. And I'll make up some to ask as well, and we'll both answer.
Yeah, so, thank you, because I'm literally not even reading the chat mostly. So thank you for that.
Of course. McDonald's or Wendy's?
McDonald's.
What is your order at McDonald's?
A Big Mac.
That's the number one, right?
Maybe. Not Wendy's though, especially after he worked there, and I saw that they handle the chicken nuggets with no gloves. So if you get chicken nuggets from Wendy's, just know that they're personally being handled.
Okay. What are you saying, Kathy? I don't see where you are talking about something was rude. I'm sorry if I missed. Someone said don't trust Jessica. Okay, cool. We promised, told you. I was going to ask rapid fire. I don't see any questions. Y'all have any quick questions before we wrap up? Is Nick a master manipulator? I think everybody in addiction is master manipulators. I'm sure Mariah.
1,000%. 1,000%. We honestly, we become professionals at it at some point. Like I said, there's just different levels and different steps to it. And It's if you want to be that person and if you want to make that change.
They said they love you, they miss you, and they're saying, are you still with Nick?
I am forever his friend.
Coffee or energy drinks?
Energy drinks. I blame him.
Is Nick freaking out about not being on a live stream?
He says he's not. I don't fully believe that. But I think not being on live stream, he's actually getting to see secondhand how toxic the shit is.
Where would you travel to if money was no options?
Dubai.
Oh, and how are you right now?
How am I?
Like your mental health, how are you right now?
I'm good. I was going to say cold. I'm good. And honestly,
Nick,
Jessica, let me just say, Jessica, you help me daily. If I wasn't able to talk to you and Heather, I would be quite lost.
I'm grateful I have you, honestly. Every time you text me or if I text you, we respond to each other, we respect each other, we both really care, and we're actually becoming really good friends, and I'm very, very grateful.
Dream job. Yeah. Working with animals. I love animals. I went to school to become a vet tech. I didn't follow through though.
Did Nick grow up in foster care?
Kind of, sorta. He was taken from his mom and was moved in with his grandparents.
Okay, let's see what does.
Chicken or sardines?
Ew.
Exactly.
One of the first things I noticed, Dee Dee asked this about him perking his lips out. So I seen this video where Nick was like, what did he say? He was like, thank you. Thank you. I think that honestly, I'm telling you guys, I think that's a part of like his mental. I don't know. I might not be right, but
you are. I'm gonna follow up with that. So the man loves attention, right?
Yes.
But the self-esteem is very low, right? We all can tell in different ways. I will be his biggest cheerleader. When that man is like, I'm fucking handsome and jacked and you can't tell me shit, that is my fault. Because I think he is beautiful. I think he is definitely unique looking. I'm just his biggest cheerleader, man. And he's just like, he's the hardest on himself. He doubts himself the most. Like I said, we are all our worst, biggest critics. But nah, yeah, I'm definitely the cause of that, guys. Sorry, not sorry.
Is he working right now?
Is he?
I don't think he's working right now, right?
No, he's not. No, he's not working. No.
Dogs? Love dogs.
Yes, he needs to stop flexing, Elizabeth. Imagine being in a room. Imagine being in a room with him, girl. In mid-sentence, you just get a flex.
He's just like, whoosh, whoosh. I'm like, Nick, please let me teach you a couple of these things.
Listen, I literally would be like, okay, can we get out of the mirror? And he's just like I said, it's my fault though, because I've been for 3 years telling the man how beautiful and fucking jacked and muscular he is. So I'm definitely at cause for some of the ego. But yeah, could you just imagine being in the room, guys, and like in the middle of a sentence?
Around public?
Oh my God. Listen, I had such anxiety. I love him to pieces, but he knows I will always, whatever the fuck I say right here, I'll say to his face. He knows it. Y'all know it. But being out, like the anxiety I would get in the gym from him fucking posing and flexing in between sets, and he would see it, and look, he would see me getting so frustrated. Like, I don't control my face. So when I'm annoyed, when I'm sad, all these things. He would intentionally keep doing it to see if I was going to say something. And girl, those a couple times in public we got in fights at the gym. I know you all can believe that, right? But I'd just be like, can you just do your fucking set? Quit fucking flexing.
So we'll do like a couple of things about Nick.
Hold on.
Okay.
Hold on.
It's wintertime. We're blowing our noses around here, y'all.
That's my brother.
Yeah, you're good. What is like? What was like a movie that you and Nick loved together?
So the first movie we watched together was Ambulance because I'm obsessed. I'm obsessed with Jake Gyllenhaal. But that man could barely sit through a movie, more or less a show. That's why SpongeBob was always playing.
You never watched like TV shows? Like you didn't have a favorite show?
He would watch RuPaul with me. I would make him.
My daughter's on RuPaul's Drag Race season 17.
Listen, girl, I gotta watch the new season. It popped up on my FYP, and I'm so freaking excited. I just haven't sat down to like start watching it, but I am fucking obsessed. Like, if I can be in the worst, downest part of my fucking emotions of depths of depression, if I turn on RuPaul, like Nick will tell you, he's like, that's how I know I can immediately get a smile out of you.
Oh, what is something that Nick did that was super cute? Like, say like he went to work today or you went to work today and he came home. What was a super like gesture or super sweet thing that he would do to greet you, or like a moment that was like sweet between the two of you? That
oh my God, that man told me I've never been called beautiful so much in my life. At first I thought it was just like him gaslighting me, but it wasn't. And I just had to accept, like, he makes me feel pretty, and I doubt that I am. That's my own issues, right?
We all have that. I think it's a woman thing. Yeah. I think it's a human thing. We all have body dysmorphia in different types of ways. But we can tell you, I think that you're a beautiful person. I love your personality. I love how you look. I've seen pictures. I've seen you in lives. I think you're a gorgeous person.
People like me. I don't get it, but
your voice is like, if I'm even seeing you, such a little picture, your voice is very calming. It's also like there's a trusting, like a well, I don't know the right word, but I feel like I can trust your voice when I'm listening.
Yeah, it's very monotone. It's very like, I had an ex one time that told me I needed to like feminize my voice more because I have a deeper voice, right? There's like bass in my voice. And I was like, so you want me to fake my voice? Absolutely fucking not. Like,
when I'm out in public, if I'm like in a restaurant or I'm on a date or something like that, of course I talk a little bit softer and I'm like, thank you so much. Yeah. I just don't like talk normal. I'll try to soften it up just so, you know, I'm more passable with my voice. But on here, I like being myself. I like talking normal. I want someone to stroll in that's a straight person, has never seen a trans person. They'll see me and understand I'm a normal person. I'm not crazy. So I think your voice is very cute. And it's also very girly to me.
Thanks. The only thing I have to work on, which I don't, unless I'm around church folk, is my sailor mouth.
Of course. What else? She does have a smooth voice.
Really? Is it not like overly country?
No, there's definitely an accent in it. Yeah. Do I have one?
No. And the funny thing is, I only hear the Southern in my voice on recordings. I don't hear it when I speak. And then, like in real life, people all the time ask me where I'm from. Like even at my job, they're like, where are you from? And I'm like, here. And they're like, no. I'm like, yeah.
Elizabeth, I'm in Kentucky. I live in northern Kentucky, right by Cincinnati. So I always say Cincinnati, but I live in Kentucky too. So Elizabeth, welcome, Kentuckiana girls.
Right. Yeah, boys drool. They're sentence enhancers.
I worked at the bar complex in Lexington, Kentucky before, and a couple other bars there. So good to see you here. What state are you guys all in the chat? Make sure y'all let us know so we can like just see that as it goes up. And then again, before we end, any other questions you have for her, we can ask. What is your favorite, like what makeup could you not live without?
I don't wear it.
If you had to have a makeup, would you do mascara?
I have really long eyelashes, so probably not. Mine would be right because I'm very insecure about the dark circles around my eyes. So probably like concealer, some type of foundation.
Okay.
Like whenever I did wear makeup, it was very light. But then I had people tell me that I looked fine without it. That was back when I was in high school, and I haven't went back. It's got to be a special occasion. It's got to be like a concert, somebody's wedding or funeral. It's got to be, you know, even if I've like ever went out to a club or a bar, no, I'm not in heels. You're going to see me in sneakers or Chucks or rainbows or Vans.
Well, you know, most of the clothes I've ever seen you wear, you always dress, you know, I think you always look, your body looks good in whatever you wear. They want to know if you were homeless with Nick and went to hotel to hotel. Yes, I think she's pretty open about that. Yes.
Yeah, it was a choice. I didn't have to be.
What is in your bucket list that you want to accomplish either this year or in general?
A place of my own, a place of serenity. My own apartment. I'm so close. Like, think about it. He's been there, what, 2 months, right? And I've already paid off my suspension. I've already got a car. I got money in the bank account.
I'm so proud of you.
You know, I've been able to take my parents to dinner, which I never fucking did before.
How does that make you feel? That makes you feel so, it's like, fuck yeah.
Yeah, I'm over here fucking killing it in my eyes. Like, nobody, you can tell me shit, but you can't tell me shit because I know that I'm doing good. I know that I'm doing better.
I'm proud of you.
Holy shit, I could only go up from that situation. And like I said, yeah, I lived with him in hotels. That was, you know, by choice. I never wanted to leave the man's side. He does worse alone than I do. You know what I'm saying? If that makes sense. Because he doesn't have anybody. Like, I always have my family to fall back on. He does not.
Do you ever see yourself in a relationship again with Nick, without Nick, and just in general? Are you mostly focused on yourself?
Focusing on myself right now. I'm just going to be honest. You know, the way I speak of him is very territorial. In my eyes, he's mine. But I'm focusing on myself, and because regardless of whether it's theatrics or whatever we all see on the lives from Graceland, at the end of the day, that man's got to wake up and swallow every pill of the past couple years, right? So we have discussed as friends that this separation and this time apart, even though we speak, we have to, right? We remember when I told you I didn't hear from him and the level of anxiety? I just need to know that he's okay. I just have that soft spot in my heart for him, and vice versa. You know, we talk shit about each other, whatever, but at the end of the day, you know, we ride and die for each other. But the separation was necessary. I'm not worried about a relationship. Jesus Christ, absolutely not. I need a break. I need single Mariah for a second, because Mariah, when she's single, is quite the bag chaser.
Amen. I noticed that about you. Like, I'll text her, or she texts me, like, I'm at work, I'm just worried, or I'm at work, I'll talk to you after work. Things like that. Like, she's constantly like clocking in, making that money, working very hard. Make sure that but how was your first time being in a box? How was your first time being on live on TikTok with me?
I would only do it with you. So it's amazing. I would never go into anybody else's box, ever.
I truly appreciate that. And you are safe here. And I'm excited for our future as friends. And I love that you liked RuPaul's Drag Race, and I'm a drag queen. I'm trans. So, like, it kind of is cool that we have connected.
Absolutely.
And Nick brought us together.
As soon as I saw you, and well, like, I didn't see you first. I heard him compliment your makeup, and I'm pretty sure I'm mod at the time, and I was just like right on the bed across the way, already scrolling. And then I scrolled, and I was just like, oh, who the fuck is this beautiful woman you were talking to right now? And he was like, this is my friend Jessica. He was like, you know, he immediately went into like defense mode, like, don't worry, I'm just complimenting her. And I was like, shut up. I never worry about his loyalty to me ever, by the way. I never worry about him cheating or straying or nothing.
What I loved about him going live with him, from my experience, is that he never, like, of course, he gave me a little bit of love bombing and told me how beautiful I was, and that was very nice. And I don't think it was love bombing in a negative way. It was like, Jessica,
he was excited to have someone, like, he was just excited to open up a box and a battle, and it be such a kind-hearted person. Even during his manic episodes, Jessica, all you would do, you would see it, right? Because we've talked about the switch. You can see it in his eyes. It's like a light switch. Even when that would happen in his most manic states, you would pop in and immediately like, Nick, how we doing? You okay?
I noticed that about it. When I would go live with him, I would see him live throughout the day whenever I would be like doing whatever, and then I would go live and I would go in, and I already kind of knew what happened that day a little bit. So when I go with him, I would bring someone big in from the meet, and I'm like, you guys, before you go in, don't read the comments and just get to know him, give him a chance. Once you get to know this guy, he's fucking amazing. And after I left, most people were like, whoa, like the chat was very unbearable almost for a lot of people, but the experience of Nick was very nice. He was a gentleman, and that's why I advocate for him. That's why I have spoke up for him and been there for him, is that the way he treated me was absolutely beautiful. And so if he treated me that way, I know he's treated you that way, and I know he has a good heart.
He does, or I wouldn't fuck with him, I promise.
And I before we part, just want y'all to know that we are open to everything that you guys are already thinking. So if it comes to like Graceland, it comes to these other lives, or it comes to people that are in the house or whatever you guys have heard, she's aware. When I tell you this alpha female right here, she is a protector and she is constantly looking to make sure that he's safe.
Absolutely. I tell him, when you think I'm not watching, I promise you I am.
That's an amazing. That to me, like, you're a protector. Like, that you're like, this is your people. You will go to the top to make sure they're safe, and I think that's beautiful about you. That you watch and you protect while you're like kicking ass and taking names and stacking your bag.
Yeah, I'm the most loyal person. Like, when you're my person, friends, family, whatever. When you're my person, you're my person. I don't fuck around. I don't.
This is trying to be quite the drama story. I think it's been very calming today. Like, there's
yeah, quite the drama story. Nuh-uh, not me bringing the drama.
I think you've been very like calming, and you've been realistic about what's happened and been accountable.
I've had fun. This has been fun for me. I get to vent. I get to talk, and it's not negative. A month or two ago, I probably would have came in here and been like, fuck that motherfucker, and you know, but I'm at peace, and, you know, I was kind of upset when he first reached out to me. You know, I got a phone call and it came up, you know, California, and I immediately knew. And I was like debating on whether to pick up the phone or not. And I was kind of upset at first that he reached out, because I was just like, I had resentment, and I was like, you know, you left, so why? I just felt like he was keeping me in his back pocket type situation, or on the back burner. But then it was the conversation of apologize, like, you know, it wasn't, hey, I love you, I miss you, da-da-da. It was, hey, I was scared to call you, but I just need you to know that I'm aware of, you know, A, B, C, and D, and may we still be friends, you know? And I was just like, fucking absolutely. Like, it took balls for you to do that. It took balls for me to pick up the phone call, you know, but I'm glad I did.
That was the biggest part for me, is that you answered the phone. And I'm proud of you for that. I'm glad that you accepted his apology and you let him show the growth of him trying to change. And I also like that you aren't trying to desperately jump back in a relationship with him and you are really focused on yourself. They were asking, how do you feel about the whole like writing and the strict rules there? So we talked about that a little bit ago, but I think
It's a joke.
one thing I've been saying to all the people is that I don't think that they're being way too hard on them. They're like accusing of things that are not even real just to like throw words on him. Also, from a personal standpoint, I know that he can't see, so writing is going to be hard. And I'm not speaking about his like education, but like imagine being told you to write like 80,000 words.
Yeah.
And you can't see very well, so you're like, and if you watch him when he's live, he's like trying to read he like looks in and tries to read the chat, so I'm sure he gets headaches and straining from all that. It's very strict, and then also you feel like you're getting dumped on by everybody, like
Absolutely.
or you didn't put your clothes in a hamper, or you didn't do this, or you didn't pick up this stuff, you didn't do your chore, and he gets like another 200 words, 500 words.
Hey, you
like,
walked on the carpet with your shoes. Like, guys, if y'all have seen them feet, y'all want his shoes to stay on. Chill out. But no, like, he called me when he got, what was it, the first 10K. And he called me and he basically was in tears. And he's very intelligent, guys. He fools a lot of you. He's very intelligent. But he told me, he said he tried to talk his way out of the words, because the words made him feel stupid. They made him feel not intelligent. They made him feel out of control. And I just expressed to him that was probably important, that did make him feel like that. I don't agree with the words, right? In the sense of how they do it, and how you basically can go, I won't run in the halls. I won't run in the halls. You know, like in The Simpsons when Bart's writing out what he does wrong on the chalkboard. That's how I feel like it is. But I will say, as someone who has taken writing up, like I have journals and they help. It's private. When I write and it's therapeutic, it's private. And it's something that I go back and reflect on myself. If that makes sense.
Yes. They do words based on Liberty House. We understand why they do it. We just don't think it makes sense. We don't really like it. I think a lot of us disagree with things in a house, and
it's
like
how they go about just handing out the words. It's just like, I don't know, the dry snitching and all that just doesn't seem productive to me, to these people who are in such a vulnerable state of being right now. It's like you're literally, they need to focus on themselves, right? And I feel like a lot of the focus, other than like the lives and the streaming, was, hey, let me watch this person to see what I can strike them on today. Like, how is that focusing on you?
True.
You know?
True. Yes. I think me and you both agree that we don't really like that part of Graceland.
Listen, Nick has a very hard time with people. He doesn't know how to socialize in most senses. You know, even when we've been in situations, like even at the gym, you know, like people don't know how to take Nick. And he honestly sometimes doesn't know how to present himself in the correct manner of situations and whatever. But I just feel like no one in the house really knows how to take him. Obviously, a lot of people do not. Like, none of you in the chat would even, y'all couldn't spend 5 minutes in the room with the man without having your opinion. But he just doesn't really know how to socialize and come off as sincere, because he is so desperate for acceptance. And he is so wanting for, you know, love and friends and family and all these things.
I think the whole like stare down thing that he does. I think some of the behaviors you guys are witness when he's live. If
Girl, that shit is in real life, and I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie. That's real life.
But I think it's a part of his. Like, I think if you study and watch a little bit of it, what I've learned about him is it's kind of like it's a statement.
Yeah.
When he's like staring at one of the guys in the background, and you see him watching. Also, I think a lot of things happen in the house too that people don't know about. There's a lot of things that happen behind the scenes that are not talked about. And like, imagine if you go to a meeting and this person's saying, you didn't put your clothes away, you walked on the floor without your shoes on, or you didn't clean your room, or you didn't do this, and they all kind of like dump on you and you write all these words. Imagine leaving that meeting and all of your friends and your roommates just like fucking threw words on you and narked on you or whatever.
Yeah, I can imagine that feeling. Oh my gosh.
I'd be like, dude, don't talk to me. Like, what the fuck do you do that to me for?
Absolutely.
And you're already alone, no family. You're in a brand new state. There's a little bit of resentment, I think, and I don't think everybody. Also, I think he walked in being a what is the word you used earlier about him being the moneymaker, the whatever it's called. He is the person that's making the money. So when he walks in, he's the celebrity. The cash cow?
Yeah, that's what I call it.
So imagine walking in being the celebrity cash cow, whatever you want to call it. However Pat might have sold it, however it was presented that he was going to bring all these views in, we're going to stream live. Like, there's probably some resentment.
Absolutely, because think about it. No one else got that introduction.
No one. Show me one video of that happening.
Can't. Not one single person got a whole fucking welcome to, nobody got that. So yeah, absolutely. He tells me, he's not stupid, right? And like I said, he's very socially awkward, but he's very aware. Like, he tells me all the time, he's very aware that these people in this house do not like him. But the strong-minded Nicholas that I know is going to do everything in his power to sway their perspective and how they see him. And sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes it makes people go farther from him, but sometimes it breaks the wall and people actually are like, okay. Even when I was, like I told you, I was speaking to Matthew today, like, he makes fun of him in his little videos, and I thought it was freaking hilarious just because when he flexed, I immediately knew who he was talking about, and the stare down, because like I said, it is real.
What does the stare down mean, you think? What does the stare down mean?
This, like, I don't know, like, he just freaking stares, man. Like, I have to tell him to blink sometimes, and like, I would feel bad, right, Jessica? Because he would just
in the moment. Is he thinking and not even realize what he's staring at?
Sometimes, and then sometimes I'd be like, could you please quit fucking staring at me? And then you know how he would counteract that shit and eat me alive. He'd be like, I'm sorry, I think my girlfriend's so beautiful. And then it's like, damn, I know. And then I'm like, sorry. But no, I don't know. I'm just awkward also. So
it might be also part of his mania. It might be a part of his bipolar disorder. It might be a part of some kind
of trauma. And it's part of a lot of things. It's part of, like, I tell him I think he's, no offense to anyone, and I'm not speaking professionally. This is allegedly how my take on things, that he is somewhat on the spectrum, right? And I think that maybe, like, I'm going to call it somewhat of like a tick maybe. But I think you said it better. He's very ADHD and all that stuff. And I think sometimes it is just he's in thought. And then sometimes he'll do it purposely because he knows that it makes you feel uncomfortable.
So if you pissed him off and you gave him a bunch of words and you seem like you're attacking him, maybe a stare down is like a way of being.
Absolutely. We could have a full-blown argument and he's over there in the corner just staring at me. Like,
we know.
Like, what do you want?
Yes, he is still at Graceland, guys.
Yes, he's still at Graceland. He is not leaving Graceland. We are advising highly against him because that would not be smart. Well, he put himself there. He needs to stick it out.
He's also said to us both, like, Jessica, I want to graduate. Like, I want to accomplish this. So, like, there is days where he wants to leave. Of course, we all have bad days. People piss you off. Things happen. But he's also,
You guys, this is the highlight of his life right now. Like, this is so important to him right now that he does this. Amen. Even though sometimes it does come off fake, like, genuinely, he feels like he has nothing else, especially if he does not complete this.
So let's do a little speculation, a little bit of like, the chat, you could do this with too, a little bit of like conspiracy theory, a little bit of like, what ifs, a little bit of like what we've heard in the past going to now as far as Graceland. If you're comfortable with that. You follow what I'm saying? Like, because like we don't know like what's happening. They're not live, so we only know what Nick has told.
We're speaking allegedly.
Yes, very allegedly, very speculative. Like we're just saying like, and then Mason's shared a little bit with me. So I think we kind of know a little bit what's happening, but we also have heard everybody else discuss what they've heard and whatever.
Yeah.
If it's not good, we don't have to do it. But chat, you're welcome to like bring up, or maybe we can touch on a couple of different topics that are thinking, like with Pat being back. I think everybody has confirmed that he's back.
Yeah. He took them out for frozen yogurt the day after, I think. He took the whole house out.
So, and then I know that I did hear that when he got back, there was some like damage control, and there was some like, dude, why did you do this? This is going to be the punishment that's going to happen because of this action. There was some like accountability situations that happened.
Yeah.
Can you tell us what Mason told you what was going on? He couldn't say. So if he wouldn't say, I can't say. I will tell you that we did talk on the phone today. Again, there was a lady that came to my live last night, and she was on. I don't know what words to say, but she was not doing very well, and she possibly could be passing soon. We're praying not. But in that moment, I reached out to Mason and I said, "Hey, will you please let Nick know that this woman," and I showed the name and I showed who she was, and I said, just tell him to let him know that she mentioned him last night and cares about him and wants him to do well and is praying that he graduates and has success. And I just kind of saw what happened, but he did tell me like what's happening, what his plan is, what went down, things like that. But if he's not sharing, then it's not my place to share.
Yeah, just like Matthew, Drake, he signed the NDA. He has talked to me about some things, nothing that would be going against what he signed, but things that I will never publicly disclose because it's not right to do that. But if they didn't sign NDAs, I think that they would definitely be willing to talk more.
Yeah.
But you have to understand, anybody who knows, legal shit and things like that, it's just best for your own personal benefit to kind of steer away from that, because once again, the internet's forever.
Yes. So like what we said, not going to be clips. What I do think with him being at the ground house, I'll tell you my thought yesterday based on me hearing him go live and what he said. I think that he's still a part of it. Something happened where he got in trouble, or he like,
I agree.
Same thing with Patrick. Pat came back and was like, dude, you recorded him without his consent and you posted it, or like, dude, you did this, or you got pizza money. Like, that's what I'm thinking in my brain. And I'm thinking, Pat's like, dude, you're off for a month. Like, take a break, go get some help, like, figure out your life, come back in a month. But you can still work at the, the ground, whatever, the other house, and you can still do this. So I think he's still associated. I think that something happened where he had to take a step back. Do I think he's...
Well, because he openly talked about, his gambling situation or whatever. I'm going to speak lightly because I don't know fully about it.
He was a house manager, you guys, house manager.
But he, the fact that he became self-aware or was made to become self-aware, either way, helped him in the long run. And, like he said, he's just going to focus on himself, and I think that's what's important.
Also, I think that Pat being back, this is my speculation. I have no facts to back it. I'm just stating it based on what I feel and what I've read, what I've seen. And allegedly, this is not facts. So making sure no one can hold me accountable or take me to court for it. But I think something's happened in the house where Pat is under an investigation for things that happened in his past. I think they're not going live for a purpose reason. He's losing all of his subscriptions. People are unsubscribing. So that makes no sense as a business person that he would allow that to happen. He's not really giving any content. So I think there's a reason why, and I think it has to do with the court cases. That's my theory.
Yeah, I think it's part of damage control. And securing what, little positivity that they may have left for the place and all that stuff. But
we'll stick with the thing that Mason needed a break, and that's great. Like he said that's cool. I'm just telling you what I was speculating yesterday. And then after I talked to him today, I kind of know a little bit more, but it's not my place to say. But I was just saying, like, yesterday I was speculating, and the day before I was speculating. So it was just like a thought.
Yeah. Allegedly, guys.
Yes, very allegedly. No, Graceland did not catch fire. They were close to the fire, but they were safe. They did lose power.
Yeah, he literally was on the phone with me and could see the fires happening over the hilltop and stuff. And they did discuss a possible evacuation at one point, and they were all, as a house, going to go to an Airbnb, but it didn't come to that, luckily. The power was off due to a safety precaution. I think that's how they do it there.
Yeah.
So it was like the last time I talked to him, the phone got cut off. The phone reception was just terrible. Like if he moved an inch, you couldn't hear anything he was saying. And that's the last I spoke to him. We actually got disconnected, and I haven't heard from him since.
So Mariah and I don't know, we put a deadline on the exact time frame, or if she wants to, she can. But I will say that we have not heard from Nick for a little bit, and I just
too many days, in my opinion.
And we just found out today. Mason has told me, and this is straight from the house manager, straight from people. When I talked about Cindy last night and what happened, I sent a screen recording, a screen clip of what was happening, and I said, just please give this to Nick and let him know that this lady, she really does care about you. So just know who she is, and that's kind of like want it. And he was like, well, he gets his phone the restrictions are over tomorrow. Nick will be calling you. Let Mariah know he'll be calling her. That everything should be fine. So they said
that's the thing. As long as when I hear him, he is in good spirits, and the last couple conversations, I haven't heard him say, "Am I safe?" Which is progress, right?
That was the big thing. So
that was huge. That was every conversation with the both of us. Is he safe? Is he safe? Like, he's a very paranoid person, guys.
Well, I would imagine. So put yourself, anyone in the chat that's here chilling. Imagine you get taken from, you willingly choose to go somewhere else other than your norm. You're in a complete strange place. I would be scared to fuck. And then I'm with this guy, the person who invites me here is gone.
Yeah, as soon as I get there, like what?
Some shit goes down, and then I don't want to before I say this, I don't know if it's factual 100%. There was a night where like police came in to the house, right? Or something when they first got there.
Yeah, no comment.
Yeah, no comment. Anyway, so a lot has happened to where if I was him, I would have felt uncomfortable, and I would ask my friends, that my family, the ones who love me the most, like, am I safe? And that's kind of what we did. They said there's a lot of things seem very fake and rehearsed, to be honest. I will tell you, I know that a lot of things were rehearsed. A lot of things were said, you have to do this. We have to get the subscribers up.
There's a lot of coaching before that camera comes on.
But we're going to state that it's allegedly, and it's what we just think.
Yeah. That's just our take on it. We don't actually know. We're just assuming. But no, yeah. I would be very anxious too. I'd be very nervous. I couldn't imagine And the fact that he is actually there, like, girl, he has made it longer than what I thought, right?
Oh, I did. I thought he'd be back already.
Me too.
Like,
you know,
yeah.
and every phone, and that's why I say, like, not selfishly, but selfishly, like, it's important that he does get to call me, because in those moments, he needs us to go, okay, Nick, you're just not having your way. Everything's not in your control, but this is probably a good change. This is something, what do they say? The change comes in your uncomfortable state.
Yeah, and people say, like, being uncomfortable sometimes is better than being complacent or being, stagnant or being in bad places. So I think, so his restriction, you guys, I don't think there was a month restriction. And Mariah can correct me, but the phone getting back tomorrow, I don't think it was like said, like, you're on a month restriction.
No, he hasn't been able to use the house phone and call me and stuff, because I don't know exactly what's happening, allegedly, but it's because when he's on reflections and, like, whatever's happening, I don't really know, guys, but I feel like reflections is kind of being put in a sense of timeout, right? Yeah, so the way he expresses it is, you reflect, right? You have to reflect on what you're doing and all this stuff. Well, they also will take certain privileges, like the phone, If it's ever an emergency, I'm sure he's more than able to use that phone if it's an emergency. But right now, that was the last I had heard, that when he gets on reflections or they're coming down on him, that the phone, like even the house phone, gets monitored and lessened.
He gets his phone privileges tomorrow, you guys. So he's going to be calling Mariah, calling me, giving us a little update, and, like, just let know that he's doing okay. Also, like, I've always said I'm, like, 50-50 about Graceland. So, like, a part of me believes in the process and believes that he's okay and that it's going to be fine. A part of me does like Pat. A part of me does like some of the housemates.
Absolutely, me too.
The other part, I'm, like, cautiously, nervously watching. I distrust Pat a little bit because of my own personal experiences with him.
And he's also asked us, as people in his lives and his, friends and people who love him and care about him, he has openly asked us to keep an eye.
Yes. He's like, please watch, Jessica. Please let me know if something's happening. Like, so trust me, him knowing that you guys are watching the lives and that you are keeping up with them, and that it gives him such
security. Yeah.
The cell phone, I think he only gets on the 1st and the 15th. The home phone is a different topic.
Yeah, the home phone they can use at their own discretion when, as long as they sign it out or whatever. There's been days where I've got multiple phone calls in one day, as long as it's never during, group or whatever they call it, or meeting, whatever they call it, it can never be during those times. When they have to write, they find time. Everybody in the house gets to use the phone and sign it out. There is a phone monitor, all those things. So, but the personal phone will come whenever they allow it. And right now, like I said, it's a huge change, Jessica, because, a couple weeks ago, he was like, if I don't get my phone in 60 days, I'm fucking out of here, And then it's like
not freaking out and not, like, snuck and called and not left and called us from a hotel. Like, I can't even use the house phone to call you. Like,
yeah, it's not that serious for him.
The fact that he's still there, like, and nothing's happening, and he's taking the restriction as seriously as, I'm pretty proud of him.
I am too. It's a huge change that he was like, last I talked to him, he was like, I know I'm not getting my phone back in 60 days. Like, he was like, you're right. I'm not getting it back. Cause he was like, he was fighting for it, like, oh, I will get it back. They told me. And then I was just like, okay, calm down, humble yourself, say they don't give it back in 60 days. what are you really going to do? And it was at one point, oh, I'm out of here. But now it's, okay, I'm going to bite the bullet and I'm going to, you know, in a way, like we talked about, submit. And he is giving it a chance. And that's why me and Jessica are giving this situation and this place the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah.
Because it's a lot better than the situation we were in before he went there, guys. You know, if we don't agree with how they run shit, that's fine. We all have our opinions. You're allowed your opinions, but we all do have to openly admit that he looks better. He's doing better. The anxiety, the stress is lessened. The manic episodes are gone. There's no more.
Can we discuss the cooking episode?
Girl, that man does not know how to cook. And listen, Jessica, he called me before, like the day before. and that's when I was telling him openly, hey, quit giving them fucking content, you know,
yeah,
like
we're on the same page with that.
Yes, like quit giving them content. So he calls, you know, I'm pretty sure he called you two that day, and then he calls me and he's just like, so they're having an idea that they want me to meal prep, right? And Jessica, every bit of me wanted to be like,
no,
honey, they are about to purposely try and make a fool out of you. But he kind of already knew that because Nick knew his ass didn't know how to cook.
Yeah.
But at the same time, not only did it get him and them content in a place where you're secluded and you don't have a job and you go stir crazy, he was just like setting up Madison's party. He was excited to get out of the house for a second. And he's always been very big on giving back, and he's always done volunteer work, even when, you know, even out of the rehabs and the stuff, even, you know, sober, even when he worked a job, like he still always found time to give back to somebody, whether it was helping a friend move or, you know, like the car detailing job started out as him just like helping out a friend, and then, you know, they offered him a job behind it, and, you know, he knew he didn't know how to cook, and I told him, I was just like, it's gonna be a hard watch. And then he was and then he goes,
this was content, like that was a good,
he knew, that's exactly what he said. He goes, it's content. And I was just like, okay, well, you know, we'll be watching. But
I'm not saying that Nick ever confirmed this or denied it, but I'm just saying I know there's rewards. The better the content is, the more subscribers they get. I'm not saying that that's alleged. I'm just saying, like, I've never asked. I'm not saying he never confirmed. I'm just saying, like, I just think there's a reward for people that do great content.
Yeah, do as you're told, you know, and benefits. Elizabeth, yes, girl, when he poured all that rice in there and then the water to rice ratio, I knew he had fucked up. Like, I always cooked, right? I always cooked, and cause I'm a very picky eater. Like, I'll maybe eat once a day or whatever. It's usually fast food, but when I got with him, he started teaching me about eating clean, and, like, you know, we had the apartment and stuff, but that man I let him cook me eggs maybe 2 mornings. and that was it. I was like, no, get out of my kitchen.
Just to change topic, that I'm answering some questions. So the night that Nick let me go live with him while he slept, that phone call was like, I need someone I can really trust. Please, Jessica, have my back. Sit here just live. So they're saying, like, do you think it would be helpful for Nick to give updates through you so he can control the exposure? So Nick already planned that. When I tell you guys, Nick is a smart guy.
He's very smart.
You guys think if you underestimate him in his worst addiction manipulation to him being sober and him being smart, it all goes hand in hand. He's a smart guy. He can survive, and he knows how to, like, get through situations. So he already has made it be where Mariah gets all the updates. I get updates. And then it's mainly us two that I think that he speaks to only at, right?
Yeah. And, like, where, you know, when he needs advice or anything like that, or a second opinion, which he always does. If y'all noticed, Nick is huge on validation, and I've always been like that too. Like, I felt like for a while I couldn't think for myself, blah blah blah. But when he has, the two people like me and you, Jessica, that he trusts us like with his full whole life. And I was at work and he was like wanting me to come to the room. And then I was like, no, I can't. I just started this job. And literally we were like, okay, if Jessica's not doing anything, let's see if, what I'm saying? Like, so that was talked about beforehand, because I told him, and remember I messaged you and I was just like, I need somebody to watch him. Like, I need somebody's second opinion to see if this is safe, because when Fly came on at first, if y'all noticed, like, Nick hurried and ended it. He was scared. He thought he was just like being set up. Yeah. We literally had just been kicked out of 3 hotels in under 48 hours, and people were showing up. He was very paranoid. He didn't think any of this was real,
I watched the whole reaction where he like fell on the ground, like, because he was so shocked they were on camera with him, when the whole like scholarship was given out. But anyway, when he that live, when I was in there for 3 hours, that was his way of introducing me in a very vulnerable state where I can observe. Also, he can rewatch all the lives and play everything back, because he's like, when you go live on TikTok, it saves it and you can go rewatch it for like a long time on your phone on TikTok. So he could review whatever they said about him. He can review how I acted or how I protected him. Yeah. And so he kind of set it up for you guys to see. Mariah, you guys already all know Mariah. You all trust Mariah. You've seen all the good and the bad. He brought me in to be like, okay, Jessica is someone I can trust. This is where it is. So this is a safe place, and I will give you guys genuine updates. I will always protect him. If he's in the wrong, I will hold him accountable and I'll say it. If he's in the right, I'm going to congratulate him. I'm also going to always protect Mariah, and I've done that, and I've always been a big cheerleader of her success right now and how great she's doing. So this is a place where this is the first time Mariah's been in a box talking publicly. She's not talked this whole time.
Nope. Nope. I have been very quiet. Because like I said, I'm very personal, but when it does come to things, like I said, people can only hold a mask for so long, but at the same time, like, I don't agree with everything. A lot of people don't agree with everything that I've done in the past, but our past doesn't define us. As long as you work towards change and it's sincere, it will show. If you're being fake and phony and it's an act, people will see that, right?
Yeah. The Fly thing and like the whole thing when that all went down, I know that a lot of us watched it. I think that Fly was genuinely trying to help. I was 100% watching. He was like, dude, I'll get this. We'll get you some clothes. We'll get you some food. Let's take this opportunity, dude. Let's do it. I think that was honestly like, in that moment, take all the garbage away. I think Fly was honestly being genuine and trying to help someone who needed help.
Yeah. I mean, he kind of went into it just as blind as everybody else did. Yeah. But he took away all the layers and he saw a struggling person who needed and wanted the help. And I give him props for that. Like, I don't agree with Graceland and everything they do, but at the same time, like, think if that wouldn't have happened, where would me and Nick be?
So I'm grateful it happened because of where you're at today.
Yeah, we'd be in a bad spot. We were running out of hotels to go to, guys. Like, in Greenville and all that, we were running out of hotels to go to, and the money clearly was running out, and the stress, and then like just life, man. Life's a bitch, and
also like imagine how like Nick felt with this guy that he was going to go to go to in I think it was Maryland or something like that. Like that
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
humiliating for him. He's not going to say that fully on TikTok. He's not going to be like, I was humiliated, like, because he's a prideful man, of course, but like that was stupid.
Yeah, that was.
I'm not saying that guy is stupid. I'm not saying Nick's stupid. I'm not judging nobody.
The whole situation was just a manic episode of stupidity.
And then him going to like want to go to his mom's, and then him going to a place for a couple of days. It was coming to like that point where I don't know what would happen today if that continued. So I'm grateful that Fly did that. I think everybody got, it was a big moment for everyone. I think Check the Star did pretty good that day. I think Pat did good that day. I think all players did good in that moment to get Nick there. That's all.
Yes. And AJ, I agree with you. You're not being negative. You're being real. Me and Jessica, that is our number one priority, that he does see a psychiatrist, because like I said, at the end of the day, we all saw he pissed clean. I will vouch for him. I have not been on anything, so I'd be damned if I'm going to allow my partner to be beside me using or anything like that. So that was not the situation. It is complete mental instability and undealt with trauma. I have it too. I'm just more mentally stable.
Amen.
So
if they've been watching it all, they know I have advocated in every single box, every single live I've been with Pat, anyone with Graceland involved. I have fought. I have said, please get help. And yes, we know he needs to do it himself. So when he calls me tomorrow, I'm going to say to him, I need you to call a doctor. Like, do it right now while we're on the phone.
Yeah.
Here's the number. Let's look this number up together. Make the appointment right now, and then I'll call a fucking Uber. Like, if someone cancels a ride, we got to get you to a doctor.
And that's what I told him about his glasses. I was like, give me, like, I'll pay over the phone, get you an Uber there, all these things. Like, make the appointment. It's up to you, because you have to use your name and your identity. But if they are not giving you the tools to tangibly get there and get the help, then reach out to me and Jessica and we got you. Yeah. But everybody knows you have to want the help. You have to want the change. An addict doesn't get clean because they didn't, you get clean and it's a successful story because it's what you wanted. When I decided to get clean, Jessica, I've never disliked myself so much in my life. I don't have kids. I felt like, other than my parents, like, what reason did I have to make that change, right?
Amen.
My own freaking misery. I was tired of living like that. I wasn't built for that lifestyle. I don't wish it on my worst enemy.
He does not have his phone back. His cell phone, he gets that on the 1st and the 15th, but he does have a landline, and he's going to call Mariah and I tomorrow.
Yes. And it will be, it's going to be positive. I already know it's going to be positive. He's still there, so he's working through his shit.
Hello, Paul. Hello, everyone. Well, y'all, this is Mariah. It's her first time in boxes, first time live talking, telling her side of the story, her truth, and her situation. And
big love.
We are seriously rooting for you, and we're so proud of you. And if for some reason Sydney is in here somehow, I don't think she is, but Sydney, I got the message to Nick. Mariah also knows about it, so we'll make sure we tell him as well tomorrow. And we're still
And he'll probably remember. He does not forget a face or a user screen name, I promise.
Amen. Yes. So y'all, before we exit, if you have any last minute things you want to say in the comments, please feel free to do that. Also,
just let me voice, Jessica, that I'm so grateful for you, and I thank you so much for this friendship. I really do.
I'm so grateful for you, and I'm really rooting for you. And I really hope that if the plan plays out, we get to meet at the graduation and be able to celebrate him. And Hopefully he has a job by then. Hopefully he has some money stacked up. Hopefully there's a plan of what's after that. I know they've offered him a place to work, and he did say something about being a house manager, working for Graceland in some kind of way. We don't know if that's even going to happen, but whatever the future is, I think we're all both kind of optimistic and praying for the best.
Yeah, even if he doesn't work for them, he is okay with that, and he's content with that. Yeah. He's not going based off that. He's not waking up every day depending on that, you know. He wants his self-independence. He knows he needs it. Nick does not know how to adult well because he's never really had the opportunity, or even when he did, he might have messed it up. We're all, you know, imperfect, but I think us losing the apartment and all the shit that we've been going through, and just, he hasn't hit bottom, and I never want to see him hit bottom. So the fact that he has stuck it out at Graceland this long, I'm very proud of him for that. That's why I tell him every single day that you feel negative or you have a panic attack, you freaking call me and Jessica. We will talk you down, you know, and you got on that bus for a reason, Nick, you know.
Amen. Yes, he did. And I want to say, like they said that, Mariah, make sure you're doing this for yourself, not for Nick to come back.
Absolutely.
You all know Mariah has had, if I had to guess, at least 20 opportunities, and Mariah could have said, here's a plane ticket, come home now. And he would have probably got on that plane, because he's in a selfish, sober, addictive place, and he didn't get his way. So if she would have reacted on certain moments to be like selfish or whatever, she would have been like, let's come home now. Every time she talks it through with him, rationalizes with him, and every time she roots for him to stay. She wants to be single right now. She wants to fix things for herself. Your mental health has like gotten so much better, and your depression has gotten better. Your self-esteem has gotten better. I feel from what you've shared with me personally.
It really has, Jessica. It really has. Like, the fact that I'm making small goals, and honestly, rapidly, I'd like to say with time, but hell, I've kind of been doing this shit at a good pace, and that's just giving me more drive. The paychecks, I see them, and I'm getting shit accomplished, and I can buy myself a pair of freaking shoes. I went to Bath and Body Works the other day at the mall and got myself some stuff, and like, that is giving me drive. Holy shit, I'm doing stuff for myself. I went and got a fucking membership at a gym. Killing it. Love it. You know, that feels amazing to be able to do that for myself. I'm at my parents' house, yes. I'm paying my dad to be here.
Well, when you mentioned like getting an apartment, and you mentioned like becoming a veterinarian and things like that your hopes and dreams. And every time that you talked, if you all paid attention in the chat, when she talked about getting an apartment, she didn't say, I'm getting an apartment for me and Nick. She didn't say, I got a car for me and Nick. She didn't say, so I paid close attention to detail. And what I love about her, and what I notice when she talks about her future, of course, there's a part that where she hopes they can fix things and get back together. We all have that hope and fantasy for the person we love the most. But what I noticed when I hear you talk is that it's about your dream right now. It's about your focus and you getting better, and you getting a place to live in, and you got your car and stacking money and fixing yourself. And I never hear you say, I'm getting an apartment for me and Nick. I'm getting a car for me and Nick. I'm getting...
No, absolutely. Solo dolo right now, guys. I gotta focus on me. I can't help others if I can't help myself.
That's what
I can't be there and supportive for others, you know?
RuPaul says at the end of every episode of RuPaul's Drag Race, she said, you can't love yourself if you can't love...
How the hell are you going to love somebody else? Yeah. Can I get an amen?
Okay. There you all go.
I'm telling you, I live by that, girl. Like, RuPaul has saved my mental state on more occasions than you could understand.
Amen, y'all. Can we get an RuPaul does say,
can I get an amen?
Come on, amen in the chat.
Literally, like, I'll tell you a funny little story real quick. When we were in the program together, well, he went in first, and then he called me, and I was pretty, wasted, and I was over it, and I was just like mentally exhausted, and he could tell. I tried to lie about drinking, but he could hear it in my voice, right? And he was just like, I have to cut you off because I'm in this place doing the work. If you don't do the work also, then it's hindering my progression, right? And I immediately was like, I'm sick of this. You're right. You caught me. I can't lie about it. May I please have the number of the facility? And I immediately called them, and they got me, a bed or whatever. And long story short, the reason we ended up having to leave that place is because there was a, no, you couldn't have relationships and all this stuff. And this place already knew about us from the internet, obviously, because it's there. And they were just like, hey, we know who she is, and we'll let her come here, but y'all can't be, y'all got to separate for, a year, whatever. So we broke the rule once, and they found out because they had eyes everywhere. I literally went from my job to his job just to go see him before I had to go back to the woman's house before group. And they drove up there, or somebody worked near the dealership that he was at, and they saw me. And they pulled me in after group, and they were just like, hey, how was work today? And I was about to lie. And they were like, yeah, well, what'd you do after work? And I was like, came home. And they're like, you want to try again? So they found out, and then they were like, we're supposed to kick y'all out. And they were like, but we need y'all to make the effort to detach from each other and cut the umbilical cord. So they gave us somewhat special treatment, and they had us write goodbye letters to each other. And one of my, it was in the first paragraph of my goodbye letter to him was the RuPaul quote. Because they were like, we need y'all to write what it is necessary for y'all to separate, and all these things. And then I was just like, I'm not gonna be any good to you if I don't love myself. And I was like, you know what RuPaul says? And it was just cute. It was in my whole little goodbye letter, and I was just like, RuPaul is life.
So as we end, a note that we should all remember and take with ourselves that Mariah has just shared with us is, if you can't love yourself, how are you gonna love somebody else? So think about that. Self-love is gigantic, and mental health is gigantic. So I'm very grateful that you chose me, and I got this opportunity, and I'm glad that you and Nick trust me. And I
feel like you chose us, Jessica.
Well, I thought, yes, but it was based on how Nick treated me. So if he would have if I just happened to be that person that he went off on that day, this would be a different story.
Yes.
But I think luckily, because I am trans and I am a drag queen, I think that he was like, that's my people. And it was
immediately comfortable.
And whether, I'd never, and we do joke, one night we were live with people, and I was just kind of making jokes about how hot Nick was. And
that was a joke. I was in the chat.
We were playing, having fun.
Yes.
And so my relationship has no kind of sexual hidden narrative. I've never overstepped the boundary with him. I've never disrespected your relationship. I've been very
Jessica has always been respectful. Jessica has always been beyond respectful. Because I have my doubts about anybody, right, who comes into his lives. I have doubts about anybody that comes near us. I mean, I'm very protective of him.
What are you take from us? What are you going to use from us? Yes,
yeah. We literally, Jessica, it was getting to the point where you're getting caught out in public. And most people, I'll say 9 out of 10, we might have had one little incident where someone was weird. But 9 out of 10 times when we would get approached in public, these people we literally would be walking down the street and people are like, love you, Nick and Mariah. Or we go to Walmart and the workers are like, oh my gosh, we watch you guys and like we're rooting for you guys. Like they were always positive and stuff like that. So it was just, it's hard for him and me both, me more than him. He'll open up to a stranger. I usually will not. But but no, like when I saw the authenticity from you and how he reacted and how the banter and how y'all bounced off each other and how whenever he opened a battle or a box for anyone else, he left not okay. With you, he left better.
And that's how I feel like every time I talk to him or every time I've been around him and been with him, I feel like there's always been this respect for each other and a great treatment with each other, like how we treat each other. So I'm very grateful that it happened between the two of us. And I'm grateful that, I don't know. I'm just very grateful that I had this opportunity with you, and I love our phone calls. We'll continue growing, and y'all make sure y'all follow Mariah if you're in this live. If you don't know who she is, follow her journey, follow her story. She is a very private person, but hopefully we'll do this again, and y'all can get an update from her, especially after
Absolutely. Now that you showed me such a good time, I'll definitely be coming in your boxes. As long as I'm not at work. Cause like they freaking play music or whatever over the intercom. So like, I don't know if my headphones would like mess up the audio or whatever, but no, I'm definitely going to be doing this with you more. It helps. This is therapeutic for me. Also, Jessica, like I told you, I don't talk to people, you know,
and it gives you an introduction to the chat. So you can see that like tonight, what I did notice, if you did not notice this in chat, if you recognize this too. I don't think we had anyone in here calling her name besides the very beginning. I think I seen like one or two people.
Oh yeah, y'all were so kind. Like literally, like I'm very shocked.
Like no one disrespected you.
No.
No one asked questions that were, I think, almost too far to ask. I think everybody was pretty respectful. And I think that's what you bring. That's like Nick obviously has his own story with how he handled TikTok. And not that you're going to be some kind of TikTok person, but like we all are invested in your guys' relationship. We're invested in you. And I think you bring this type of energy when you're speaking and when you're being real and vulnerable and you're opening up like you did tonight. So there's a positive side to TikTok.
Absolutely. Because like I said a couple of weeks ago, when I had anger and resentment, this conversation might not have went the same way.
Well, we all get upset. We all go through angry moments. And you probably, your phone call with Nick tomorrow, he could be, something could happen that pisses us off. It could be, things could change. Where right now we're kind of like at peace with a question mark and we're having a positive life. But tomorrow maybe we'll do an update after we both talk to him and let the chat know like what.
Let's definitely do that because I'm off. So that would be something great to talk about and update people on. Regardless, they have taken the phone out of whatever reasons, and I know that he will voice that to both of us. There's probably going to be some concern and some worry, and it is just my job. And luckily, by the grace of you being our friend, you're going to have an impact on talking him down from whatever situation has occurred. Like I said, I'm just speculating, but for a fact, I'm probably pretty sure that some stuff has been popping off. Like I said, I've been talking with Matthew, Andrew Drake or whatever. So I'm sure some things have had happened. And he might be a little uneasy, but I will be doing everything like I usually do, which will be to just keep him in good spirits and positive and remind him that he put himself there and work the program, because if he was to leave, it would not be a good situation.
Amen. I agree with that. And so tomorrow we'll do an update during the live. Whenever Mariah comes in, we'll do a little chat, tell you how the phone call went. Obviously, we're not going to share every little detail or share personal stuff, but we'll give you a rundown of what's happening. So as someone asked it earlier, is this a trusted space where you can, get an update, a true, real update? This is a safe place where you can find Mariah and myself giving you guys real updates about Nick himself and what we know about Graceland and our optimism, or what is that, optimistic point of view of Graceland. We're both kind of 50-50 on it. But I'm very grateful that you guys are here. And again, remember, I did not ask one of you all to subscribe, one of you all to gift. I did not ask one person to follow. And that is what I will always represent when it comes to Nick. I'll never coattail. I'll never make money off of his back. That's not what my friendship's for. I'm here to
That simple statement right there is why I will always, always talk to you, because I know that about you.
I appreciate you. I appreciate that a lot. And it's a safe place. Nick trusts Mariah. He trusts me, and we are his people. And this is a great place to be. So, Mariah, love you. Everybody, put pink hearts in the chat so she can see you as she exits. She'll be in the chat still, even though she drops from a box. So
absolutely, I will. I love watching you.
I love you. Thank you for watching me and seeing these battles and these conversations we do, and some of the toxic situations we have over here. And we have really big mental health chats in our chat too. So y'all, the pink hearts all show Mariah that we love her. We support her. We are rooting for her. We want her to do well and be successful, and her mental health to stay where it's at and keep rising and keep kicking ass. I love you, Mariah.
Guys, I love you. And I promise I had a blast, and I promise I'm doing better than ever. And at the end of the day, we're his family. We don't agree with everything, and we know you guys don't either. I do not hold on to grudges. It will give me fucking wrinkles, and I refuse. So.
All right. I love you, beautiful.
I love you so much. I'll talk to you probably in the morning.
Okay. See you soon.
Have a good night.
Wow. That was cool as fuck. Honestly, you guys, that was amazing. Thank you all for coming in, letting us share our stories and our feelings and expressing our points of views and just hanging out. Honestly, I thank you guys.
Tiny.